give us a question. Can you state categorically? You are fake news, sir. Go ahead. Can you
2 cents? Hello to my blue friends, get another spinning and they call it revolution. Loose lips, better than a new disc. Glass make her think it's ruthless. Deuces, 2 cents.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing great. Don't worry, Stream Elements, Streambot, Nightbot is not working at all today, so don't even worry about the links. All right, so I hope everyone's having a great day. What's up, Tim? What's up, Night Thief? Sasquatch? Todd? Is that Todd? Yeah, Todd Norton, Vlad, everyone, how's it going? All right, so I've kind of got some bad news for everyone. Well, it looks like our buddy Will decided that he was going to show up. What's up, Will? How are you?
What is going on, folks? Will Turbitt here. Fake Mike! Real news caught that bitch. What up, dogs?
All right, so first question, I think that everyone wants to know, what the fuck is with the whisk? How did it start? And what's the deal with it?
Well, the deal with the whisk is it was an evolution. When I first started, I was wearing a suit, had my eyebrows looking fleek. I had a real microphone, but it wasn't hooked up to anything because I'm not a Rockefeller here. I'm just a regular dude from the hood. And I tried to look as professional as I could. And then I figured, hey, the perspective would be better. People would be more apt to answer my questions. And that wasn't the case. So unless I was wearing a ton of makeup and had a gaggle of key grips behind me, they're not going to pay attention because most government officials don't really care about the public that they serve or the Constitution for that matter. So once I got on Auditing America, I've been doing activism for several years. Once I got on Auditing America, everyone was like, hey, it's a fake mic. That's a fake mic. We see that. And so one of my subscribers was like, oh, real news, fake mic. I inverted it, fake mic, real news. And I would carry the fake mic around with me all the time until I slammed it to death till it was no longer operable. So we did a live stream with Mr. America. I was looking for a replacement mic. There was a whisk in his kitchen. And ever since then, I've used it as a symbol to represent transparency. It also reminds me not to take myself so seriously, right? I'm just a regular guy. I'm not pretending to be anything. Also represents the fact that I didn't lie like the rest of the corporate media about weapons of mass destruction. I didn't cover up for the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile ring like the rest of the mainstream news. I didn't lie about babies and incubators like the rest of the mainstream news. So this just represents I'm an everyman, transparency, and to giggle a little bit. You know, kick my shoulders back like Todd says and giggle a little bit. Can't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, I remember seeing you when you first came out. Yeah, you came out with the full suit and all that. And I got to be honest with you. I actually took you a lot more seriously then because I thought you were actually, it seemed like to me that you were actually trying to, you know,
and really that's part of the thing too, is like, there's a lot of other people that you shouldn't have to look fancy to be treated with respect. We all have rights here in the United States. King George, we kicked him to the curb a long time ago, and he thought he was the only king. And what made America different and special is that we're all kings. It doesn't make a difference if you're rich, you're poor, you wear a suit, or you got a fake microphone in your hand like a weirdo. We all have the same rights. So yeah, I mean, I understand that some people are going to take me less seriously because I have a suit on. I don't have a suit on, but that's fine too. I don't need to pretend to be somebody that I'm not, you know?
No, and I get it, but I think a lot of people, like with especially some of the things you bring up, you bring up some things that are, you know, that some people hold true and some people really have an issue with. I just think the air of professionalism would go a long way as to people, you know, not just people but the people you're approaching too. Because you got to think of it this way: if let's say when you walk up to Kamala Harris, when you did, she didn't. I mean, let's be honest. You on the video you said you owned her. You didn't own her, not at all. She didn't want anything. Kamala Harris. You in the video you said you owned her. You didn't really own her. Yeah, you asked her some questions, She didn't answer. That's not owning someone, really.
Sure, that's what your definition of own is, and everybody has a different definition for sure. Calling out somebody to their face who's a criminal and asking them the questions that they don't. I'm not going to name the video specifically what happens in the video, because then no one's going to watch. So, and I'm not talking about like clickbait. I'm not going to say Will Turbitt completely makes Kamala Harris cry. No, but you have to tell them a little bit what's going to happen, but not give them the whole thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't watch. So my whole thing is to get new eyeballs on this stuff, people that don't know. I was just asking her a question that I've never seen anybody else ever ask her that question in the mainstream news. So, it could come across as more professional sometimes. And if anybody wants to buy me a bunch of designer suits and send them over to me, go right ahead. But I'm working on a budget here, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm just a person. I'm just a regular person. I don't have millions of dollars from big pharma coming in on the commercials. I don't have the military industrial complex financing me. I maybe get like $35 on Patreon a month. So it's just me here, dude. Doing the best I can.
I get it. And like I said, you don't need the designer suits. You could go to the Goodwill and get like a cheap ass suit, and people will take you a lot more seriously. But back to what you're talking about, you don't want to name it, what's really going on. Like, I remember seeing the video. You really didn't make her cry. She really wasn't taking you seriously. In fact, she really didn't appreciate you putting your arm around her. In fact, that almost got you in some shit there. That was entertaining, though. I will give you that. But it doesn't what you're doing by calling it owning her, and that's not really what happens. Isn't that clickbait? Isn't that what you're against? What the major media organizations do?
Well, what's your definition of own?
My definition of owned is somebody you go in and you pretty much you leave them at a standstill. You're just like, well, they either don't have an answer. Not that they don't want to answer, because that's not owning anyone. Just because someone doesn't want to answer, it doesn't mean you own them. If you catch them doing something or in some sort of wrong action, that's owning. I think a lot of people would agree with that definition.
Well, that's fair. I think we all have different definitions of owning. And I've owned a whole bunch of different people. Some are better than the others. But at the end of the day, for the budget that I have and for the person that I am, I've owned Joe Biden 3 times. Like, literally owned him. I've owned Bloomberg.
What's your definition of owned?
Own is putting them on the spot, and it's exposing them. For me, owning somebody is exposing them one way or another, because you can expose somebody without them even having to say a word. Sometimes silence is consent. Sometimes a little smirk, or the fact that they're not answering a question is actually more indicative of the person they are, and so therefore it's an exposure in a different type of way. But I think we're really getting into semantics now.
Yeah, true.
But so if you got some more questions, I'm game, and I've got some points I wanted to bring up as well too. But I wanted to know why me? Why do you dislike me? Why do you dislike the auditors in general? What's with the auditors that you're not a fan of?
It's not really the auditors in particular. It's particular auditors. It's
so what about me? Let's talk about me, because I'm the guy here. What don't you like?
I don't appreciate your clickbait titles. I don't appreciate the fact that you really have this real disdain for the government, for law enforcement in general, and it shines through on all your videos. And before you even know if the officer is good or bad, you see this in your videos, and that's where I have an issue with. If you go into a video thinking, okay, maybe this cop isn't, give him a fair shake, I wouldn't have an issue. If he wouldn't be
okay, so let's take it there, because you're saying a bunch of things. Okay. Do you think that I go to places and are preemptively negative to people?
A lot of your videos are like that, yes.
Could you give me an example, please?
Of your videos are like that? We can go on your channel and find one.
Well, yeah, sure, because, more often than not, don't get me wrong, when I've approached Hillary Clinton to her face and Bill Clinton, even then, I actually am nice at first, and I say, hey, how are you? Love your stuff. I give people a softball. I can honestly not give you one example, and I would defy you or your audience to find me one example where I came into a building yelling and screaming before I was treated unfairly. And
no, it's not necessarily yelling and screaming. It's your demeanor, the way you walk in. You walk in with this air of not just confidence, but this air of not authority. This air of you own the building. You have every right to do this.
One, every person in this country, not just me, has authority in a public building. That's why it's a public building. We all collectively pay taxes for that building. So every single person, every single person watching that likes me, every single person that watching that hates me, even if you're in another country, everyone has authority in a public building by definition. And so if I walk with confidence or authority, which I really don't, I just walk into a public building, right? So I guess that's more of your perspective, because I'm not going in there like holding my dick like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm not, I just walk in there.
No, you're not doing that.
So, I mean, I think it would actually be a good thing if more citizens walked into the house of the people, the building of the people, the people's building with more authority and confidence, because they should have it, because we are the proprietors of that very building.
Well, yes, no, I do agree with you on that. But, I mean, you got to give them a chance to either prove you right, that there's something wrong in this building, or prove you wrong. Sometimes you don't, especially when I think it's more along the lines when you're with Anselmo than when you're by yourself. Because I've noticed you're kind of like two different people when you're with Anselmo and you're auditing with him, or doing whatever I don't even know if you call it auditing with him.
I'm hearing like a lot of like, that's how you feel, but if you want to scare me to specific.
Well, you asked me how I felt. You asked me why I had an issue with it. So
Okay, fair. That's fair.
I mean, that's what you asked me for. I can only give you my opinion.
No, I'm asking you how you felt, but I'd also like specific reasons why you felt that way. Because if you're just saying I walk in with authority and confidence, that's not a reason to dislike me. And if you're saying I'm a different person with Anselmo than myself, you should be able to provide me with a specific example or detail to back up your feelings. It's no sense to have feelings if you can't back them up, right?
Look at any video that you're with Anselmo. You're different when you're by yourself. Same with Anselmo. Anselmo's different when he's by himself too. Anselmo is more negative towards public employees, towards police when he's with someone, because he has more confidence. He feels like he can get away with it because he just wants to show off. I don't know if you want to show off. I won't say that, but you definitely have more respect, it seems, when you are by yourself than you're with someone.
Okay, well,
in your videos.
I'll tell you what. Maybe we'll do this stream again in a couple weeks, and if you want to next time bring up some examples of what you're saying, I'd be happy to concede if I was incorrect.
Well, again, it's like, all right, let's see what else. Hold on, let me.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, it doesn't really make a difference how I act, right? I mean, I could go in there and say the F word all the time, but we don't. We never go in there yelling and screaming. I mean, that's our complete legal right to do so. We've never broken the law. Everything that we're doing is completely within the parameters of the law. And we've never, ever once went into a public building, started demeaning somebody preemptively, started swearing at them preemptively, ever. I mean, even the Clintons, we walk up to them and give them a softball thing. Now, if I'm getting pushed out of a situation, like the first time I confronted Joe Biden, then I'm going to have to, and I'm getting assaulted, then I'm going to yell and scream to magnify my voice, of course. And why wouldn't you call out somebody that has openly groped on women and children? So I've never, so I mean, even if we wanted to, we could go into a building because we have the First Amendment right to say, fuck you, but we've never, ever done that. Now, have there been several instances where people have taken the Constitution of the United States? And remember, our whole goal, you can like us, hate us, it doesn't make a difference. But we're doing these audits and the other things that we do to ensure that the First Amendment of the Constitution is being protected. So no matter what you say, you can like me, you can hate me, but I have the First Amendment. And you also have the First Amendment. We're also sticking up for your right. You have the right. I have the right to go in and act how I want. And you have the right to sit here and criticize me all day long. And I think that's beautiful. I think that everybody should have their First Amendment right as long as they're not calling for violence. So we're not doing anything illegal here. And I think it's interesting that you're actually focusing on me instead of the countless people that are out there breaking the sacred oath they took before God and their countrymen. We just want to make sure that this document right here, the one that started this country, is in effect. All police officers, all governors, All members of military, if you're in public service, you swear an oath before God and your countrymen to uphold this document. And what we've seen even before COVID is that not the case. And what's even more ironic is you don't do videos about the NSA spying. You don't do videos about the cops when they break the Constitution. I've never seen one of those. You don't do videos about the illegal wars. You do videos about me. So I'm thinking in the priorities of things like, is that the most effective way to spend your time? You guys can hate me all you want, but I'm spending my time trying to make sure people remember that sacred oath they took to the Constitution. So,
first of all, I don't really do that many videos on you. I think I maybe have a handful of videos on you.
Well, you have an entire playlist called Will Turbitt, so
and it's only like 5 or 6
videos on me.
Like I said, a handful, like 5, maybe 10. I think there's only like 10 videos in there. I don't remember. I haven't looked.
And just think about doing 10 videos on something that really mattered, though, right? Like, I'm over here actually trying to uphold the law. I've never broken the law. I don't have a criminal record unless you count driving on a suspended license, which there's even a constitutional argument to be made there. But I've never broken the law. So I think it would be more effective for you to, if you really want to be effective and if you want to make a difference in the world, instead of targeting the people that aren't breaking the laws and are standing up for the Constitution, maybe you should target the people that are actually breaking the laws. Wouldn't that be more effective, you think?
That's already being done to hell. And I'm what I want to do is, my point is,
your point
before auditors showed up.
So people that stand up for the Constitution, are you American?
I'd like to finish here for a second. So my point here is that what you guys go out and do, filming post offices, filming police stations, issue with people filming the police, especially when the police are doing the wrong thing. The government needs to be called out when the government is doing the wrong thing. That's already being done. And, that's not something I do. I started watching Auditors because, first I thought it was kind of funny. And I started watching Anselmo and some of his videos. Then I saw some of the things he was doing that was wrong. Like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Because now I want to move to the next subject, Poster 7. Now, why do, all right, this is a question that someone had is, why do the auditors fully not recognize Poster 7 where it says an official sign or someone in charge can tell them not to film?
Yes.
It's clearly on there that says that.
Yes. Also, if you can pull up Poster 7 right now, I believe it's the second or third to last paragraph, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, and nobody ever mentions this. I've discussed this over and over and over again. Nothing in this document is meant to abrogate any local, state, or federal laws. Well, what's the biggest federal law? It's the Constitution. So no matter what it says in any of those paragraphs before, it can say it could literally say that you can never ever film here. But then in the third to last paragraph, nothing contained in this document, and I'm paraphrasing here, of course, because I don't have it right in front of me, should be used to abrogate any local, state, or federal laws, which means the First Amendment is the First Amendment. So no matter what you say in the rest of the document, the First Amendment still applies. So that's Poster 7 in a nutshell. It says right in Poster 7, nothing in that document should be used to go against any federal documents. What is the biggest, most important federal document? Well, of course, it's the Constitution, so they could never go against it. So Poster 7 absolutely gives us the right in 2 different spaces to film whenever we want. And as you can see, with the exception of very small tyrannical cops, we're always allowed to film there because it is our right. And on top of that, they've also been sending around, from at least my word, and I don't have any proof on this, but I've heard from people that work in the government that they have been sending around memos saying, yes, it is completely their right to film within within the post offices. Still there, bro?
I muted myself, my bad. All right, so yeah, nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you can film. I challenge you to find me in the Constitution where it says you can film in public buildings.
So filming is not press? Are you saying that the right to press does not include filming?
No, you have the right to press, and the post office has it says in there, if you're pressed, you have to go to a public meeting, and then you can film in there. Meaning when someone comes out and they have an official statement from the post office, that's usually what press does.
Well, yeah, usually the press, they wear bunks and makeup, they lie about babies and incubators, they take money from big pharma and then try to accurately report on it. They lie about weapons of mass destruction and Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, the media has been caught, from Fox News to CNN, MSNBC, literally making up stories. We don't do that. And as I said before, right in the bottom of that document, it says you can ask for permission, or somebody can tell you no, but it doesn't make a difference because the Constitution is still at play. It cannot be used to abrogate any federal, state, or local laws.
Yes, you do, and that's fine. And they're not saying you can't go in there and film, but they have the right to tell you where you can film and where you can't film.
Okay, so
if they have signs up, and the postmaster puts the signs up and says you can't go back here, Poster 7 itself says they can do that. And
also, like I just told you for the third time now, later in that document, it says, even if the postmaster, it says nothing in this document shall. Do you know what the word abrogate means?
I could probably look it up. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie.
What they're saying is nothing in this document can be used to go against federal, local, or state laws. So they could literally write that they could shut down everything and turn into a gulag. But at the end of Poster 7, I believe it's the second or third to last paragraph, it specifically says nothing in this document should be used to go against state, federal, local law. Therefore, the state, federal, and local law is all based off the Constitution. So in summing that up, what that means is we could say whatever we want in the other paragraphs, but none of that should be able to take your constitutional rights away from you.
No, I agree. I don't think anyone should be able to. No, I agree. No one should be able to take your constitutional rights away from you. And they're not trying to take your constitutional rights away from you. But if you're going to go in there and you're claiming press, then I believe you should be treated like press. Like when you go into a police, building and you say you're press, and if an officer tells you to, well, you need to talk to our press officer, you shouldn't give the officer a hard time for that because they're doing what they're told to do when they have to deal with press. I'm not talking about you in general. I'm just using it in broad terms.
Yeah. I wanted to shift gears a little bit too and talk about this conspiracy stuff because you attack me a lot compared to any other auditor about conspiracy. So I wanted to ask, what specific conspiracies did you think that I have mistaken, or what am I misleading the people on?
What's your conspiracy? There's one you were talking about. I didn't even watch the whole goddamn thing, but you were talking to some Moorish guy.
Yes.
Yeah, they're completely and utterly wrong. And if you believe anything that they have to say, then yeah, you're misleading the people.
Well, I've interviewed everybody from Moors to CIA whistleblowers to TEDx speakers to neuropsychologists to everybody in between to regular people. Obviously, it doesn't mean I agree with 100% of anything anybody says. Anybody that believes 100% of what any other person says is a slave, quite frankly, and is not thinking for themselves. So just because I've also had the world's first sit-down interview with Antifa and a member of Proud Boys. Doesn't mean I'm a Proud Boy. Doesn't mean I'm a member of Antifa or believe anything or even some of what they say, although I probably would agree with some of my guests on a lot of things, some of them a lot not. But I will say this about the Moors. The Moors, you can say all their stuff is nonsense, and I'll tell you what, there's some things about the Moors that I definitely do not agree with. However, if you go to their website, you can see that they've had 12, at least 11, but 12 cases completely dismissed and on a range of topics, and that's actually a higher rate than a lot of lawyers out there. So for just citizens, they're doing a pretty good job. And if you could name a specific conspiracy that they believe in, maybe I don't necessarily believe it. But about me, are there any specific conspiracies? Because you did a video on me talking about my top 5 ways to die video. And the point of that video is the top 5 ways to die, there's only top 1 way to die. And that's the government. It's literally called democide. For anybody that doesn't believe me, go look it up. It's democide. They did a study. The number 1 cause of death is government. And so I did a video illustrating the fact that from the Spanish-American War, and you're kind of laughing at the fact that I was bringing up yellow journalism and William Randolph Hearst, which is an absolute mainstream fact, that the Spanish-American War was blown out of proportion by yellow journalism in William Randolph Hearst. I mean, you can turn on the History Channel and they'll tell you that. It's not a conspiracy whatsoever. That's black and white right there. Mainstream history will tell you that. There's not even conspiracy. So that led us into the Spanish-American War. And then you were laughing when I talked about the fact that Colonel Edward Mandell L. House used his influence on Woodrow Wilson. This is a well-known thing. You can even look up the document. They were writing back and forth to each other, and they said, I wonder what would happen if we put an American ocean liner over and sent it over towards Europe, when they realized that the Germans had a blockade and U-boats over there. The person replies, well, I believe a wave of righteous indignation would sweep across the country. And then you had the Lusitania go out there, it got sunk. There was a wave of righteous indignation across the country, and then we entered World War I, which caused millions of people to die. Another historical fact. It's non-debatable. It's not a conspiracy. Okay? Then you said, oh, well, I know the government's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as Will says. You don't think that they had prior knowledge of Pearl Harbor. One, turn on the History Channel, and they'll tell you they had prior knowledge of Pearl Harbor. And two, 3 days before Pearl Harbor, in a 20-page memo from FDR's declassified FBI file, and I quote, in anticipation of open conflict with this country, Japan is vigorously utilizing every available agency to secure military, naval, and commercial info, paying particular attention to Hawaii. So 3 days, they knew. So again, I'm right. Mainstream historical fact. You can Google that up. It's a declassified FBI document. Okay. And then you had same thing, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which catapulted the our U.S. major involvement into the Vietnam War, which caused 68,000 American deaths and millions of deaths across the globe, was all because of the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And former Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara said it didn't happen. The Gulf of Tonkin incident didn't happen. Again, mainstream historical fact, not a conspiracy, lies by the media and our government, getting us into another war, killing millions. Then in 1991, we had George Bush talking about babies in incubators and how Iraqi soldiers were going into Kuwait, taking babies in incubators and throwing them on the ground. And they even had a young girl, I'm going to butcher her name, is Naraya, I forget what her name is. It was all a complete made-up stunt. Anybody can Google it, and that took us into the Gulf War. Then we had the weapons of mass destruction, which was another lie, which led us into another war that we're still not out of. So I talked about the Spanish-American War. I talked about World War I, World War II, Vietnam, the first Gulf War, and the second Gulf War. And I've proved specifically, and anybody can go Google anything that I said. This is all mainstream stuff. None of this is a conspiracy whatsoever. And then you're sitting here and calling me a conspiracy theorist when I'm giving you a whole bunch of non-debatable facts. And if you don't believe me that the government is the #1 cause of death, you just only have to do is Google the word democide, DEMOCIDE. So I don't appreciate being called a conspiracy theorist when every single thing I said in that video was an absolute fact, which you could go verify by Googling very easily, which you did not do. You just insulted me and called me a conspiracy theorist, did not point out where I was factually incorrect at all. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And I would actually love to have you even give me one example of when I've been factually incorrect, ever.
You've been factually incorrect?
Yeah,
I'd have to
take it right there. Did anything that I just say right there, was any of that specifically factually incorrect?
I'd have to research into that. As far as
William Randolph Hearst,
as far as the weapons of mass destruction.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I know you're not. I know you're right about the weapons of mass destruction. As far as the other crap is, I'd have to look into that. I can't really.
Before you criticize somebody, you should do your homework to see if they're right or wrong, rather than just dismissing their claims. Right? You should check something out if it's real or not before dismissing me.
Well, like I said, I haven't seen that video. That was freaking year ago. I haven't seen that video, so I'm not understanding what I know. And like I said, I'd have to go back and watch it to get what I was
doing. Do your homework, and if you find anything, I'm telling you, I watched the video right before this, and I took notes. Okay. And One, look up William Randolph Hearst, Yellow Journalism. Hey, and look, I'm not against you. I get a little upset because people have been calling me a conspiracy theorist for 16 years now, and not one of them has been able to debate me and be victorious because I only say what is factually correct. Now, have there been some times where I've misspoke? Did I call Seth Magaziner, who's the general treasurer, did I call him a different position for Rhode Island? Yes, because I make mistakes. Did I say one time Bohemian Grove was in Florida when it's actually in California? Yes, because I make mistakes. But I've never, ever purposely said a fact or said anything that was factually incorrect because I make sure that everything I say is well documented and sourced before I go and say anything. Because who's going to take you serious if you're just saying all this stuff and it's not factually true? So if you go back to my top 5 ways to die video, the point is the top 5 ways to die are a combination between the government and the media working together to lie to create wars. And factually speaking, the number 1 cause of death is democide by government. And the major reasoning that's the number 1 is because of the wars. So the media works hand in hand. And if anybody doesn't believe me, please Google what I said, because that's the most important thing, right? People dying, right? So we should try to figure that out. So I just wanted to let you know that I am sourced what I'm saying. So I'd appreciate, I would ask you not to call me a conspiracy theorist until you can point to a conspiracy theory that I've said, which is untrue, please. Because I give you the same respect.
All right, like I said, I'm gonna have to. I have to go back to the video.
I mean, we can stay on here. I roll up a blunt and I can show you all this on screen. And another thing that you said too is, I mean, you said conspiracy theorists they'll back it up with facts and studies, but will pay no attention to the studies that go against it. To the contrary, my friend, I have when I'm saying I'm going to debate something or make that a talking point, I know every single argument for and against that. I've heard every argument against 9/11. I've heard every argument against the Federal Reserve, the Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, every single one. I've heard every single pro and counter one. And that's the reason I'm able to talk with confidence and authority on these issues, because I've honestly done a really good job studying it.
All right, so moving on, because I don't want to talk about that crap right now. So this question came up a lot. This is regarding Anselmo. Now, a lot of people want to know, how does it feel to work alongside a felon arrested 3 times for domestic abuse?
Well, what I would say is I wouldn't necessarily rely on police data. And here's a few reasons why. A recent study, which surveyed over 50%, pardon me, not 50%, 50 years of police data, showed that police only solve about 4% of major crimes. Also, police are obviously, now, just like every person, we do come across some good police here and there, and shout outs to the good police out there. But police have told us to our face, they can lie to our face, they can make up charges, right? And because of fraudulent charges, as a matter of fact, I interviewed somebody on my channel just recently, shout out to Avi from Live and Direct on the Air. He's gotten 5 people, this guy's not even a lawyer. We want to talk about effective, right? 5 people out of jail who were incarcerated illegally. One guy was in jail for 27 years for attempted murder. Everybody turned his back on him. His family, friends. So if you get caught up in the system, if someone lies about you, and I've already talked about this subject here, right? And he's completely innocent. And I would suggest if you want, go ahead and talk to him about the situation, because I've talked to him.
He won't talk to me.
But also the people involved. But let's just say for one second that Enrique was a mass murderer. Well, Rick Ross was a drug dealer, probably killed a lot of people. Tukey, he actually killed people. But they didn't stay murderers and drug dealers. They changed their lives to make an impact positively on millions of people. So
and I agree. Will, here's the thing.
Sure.
The thing. One of his last charges was recently. It was last year. He got charged with domestic abuse.
Okay,
so
well, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert right now. Okay. We have people literally tell us when we go to a new city or town, you come here, I'm going to arrest you. I'm going to make up charges on you. We even have on video here in Rhode Island the head of security for Providence Court on video in broad daylight saying, "I'm not working right now, but I will shoot your ass." But then he was scared when I walked up to him after that. But obviously, when you go up and film corrupt police, there's gonna be retaliation. And speaking about abuse, 2 separate studies. If you want to talk about Anselmo, first of all, he's not. But second of all, if you really truly cared about abuse and abuse to women, not 1, but 2 separate studies. Anybody can Google it. It's not a conspiracy theory. Just open up another tab and Google it. Police, yes, that's right, police, in 2 studies, not 1, are so much more likely to abuse their spouses. So if you truly cared about domestic abuse, your first target would be the police, because they are the #1 perpetrators, according to 2 separate independent studies, but not my conspiracy brain. So if you truly care about that, I think you should readjust your focus to the true abusers of men and women, which is police. And that's not according to Will, it's according to 2 separate studies.
Well, that's great and all, but could you answer the question, please?
What was the question? I thought I did.
No, you kind of went off on a tangent. Like, your view on working with Anselmo as a 3-time felon and abuser of women. And one of those was just a year ago.
Okay, he's never abused women. 1.
Okay. All right, hold on. Well, just let me.
If you want to take, okay, like if you want to take,
just give me a minute here. Now, let's say I get what you're saying, that sometimes cops will abuse their power and they'll try and set you up for something, but they're really going to set him up for the same type of crime over and over and over again. Come on, there has to be if it talks and walks like a duck, it's a fucking duck, right?
No, absolutely not.
Oh Lord.
No, obviously. Look, I'm not here to talk about people's interpersonal relationships and stuff like that, because this is what you call.
It's not about you. I'm asking your feelings on something. I'm not asking you to judge Anselmo.
Okay, I'll give you the answer if you let me. 1, he's not, right? And I've done my own research, but I don't even have to discuss this, right? So 1, he's not, and 2, Auditing America. Like I just said, even if he did, which he didn't, if one person does one bad thing, should they be condemned for the rest of their life? Absolutely not.
Not at all.
Giving people second or third chances. So first of all, he didn't. But But working with Enrique, aka Auditing America, has been great, because we've been able to call Joe Biden a pedophile to his face. We told him to keep his hands off women and children multiple times. We've been able to go up to Hillary Clinton with a fake microphone years before the mainstream news even knew who Jeffrey Epstein was. And we said, "Hey, Hillary, what you doing over there with a convicted child rapist?" Nobody did that. We did that. Me and Mr. America told you, everybody, that the cops don't care about the Constitution. And we proved it even before COVID. Let me finish. And then I just want to say one more thing. So it feels good to be with somebody that has dedicated their life to upholding the most sacred document in this country, and who was proven correct, because we predicted before COVID that the cops don't care about the Constitution, and after COVID completely proved it. So you should be thanking us. You should be apologizing, like, "Oh, you were right. The cops don't care about the Constitution."
So essentially what you're saying is, after that it took you a long time to get to it, is Anselmo didn't do it. So you don't believe Anselmo did it. Okay, that's fine. So you essentially believe that the cops set him up 3 times for the exact same crime in different jurisdictions, different police officers. They all set him up. It's just big ass conspiracy against Anselmo.
A general question, right? When a police officer responds to a domestic call, what side do they usually take? Do they take the men's side or the women's side?
They usually you're right. They do usually take the women's side, but then the court. But he's been convicted in court, so it's not just a police side with the woman. They took all the.
Okay, so hear me out.
Hold on, let me finish. They took all the information that they had, and they convicted him 3 fucking times. Not just of the abuse, kidnapping, 2. I mean, look, I understand he's your friend, and you don't want to say anything bad about him. That's fine. I get that.
I'm trying to give you an answer, but you're still hung up on that stuff. So look, right? Do you have faith? Let me ask you a more broad, general question. Do you have faith in our justice system currently in the United States?
Somewhat.
What is that somewhat based on?
The fact that it does work. It works in theory, doesn't necessarily always work in practice, but there are some good government workers out there, and
I
yeah,
agree.
they are probably few.
Government
They're
workers
probably
out there.
few. They're few and in between. Our justice system needs to be fixed. Goddamn right. Our whole government needs
So
to be
let's just
fixed.
agree here. Let's just agree here that the justice system is flawed. More
Yeah,
often than
agreed.
not, when someone responds to a domestic, they're going to side with the woman, right? Look, I'm done. I've already addressed this a number of times. You guys can just hate Enrique forever if you want, but I've talked to him. I've talked to the people involved in the situation, and if you want to, if you want to trust the police and that's fine, because police are the people that are more likely to abuse people. So if you want to trust the abuser, and I'm not talking to you specifically, I'm talking about the audience. That's fine. No matter what. This is the last thing I'm going to say on this, because this has really nothing to do with auditing. This is more ad hominem attacks, which I hope your audience is aware of. Ad hominem attacks has nothing to do with substance. It's just attacking the person instead of the message. I've talked about this ad nauseum before. At the end of the day, you guys either believe me or not, believe Enrique or not, but it doesn't make a difference. You can keep criticizing or not. It's your First Amendment right to say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, even if that did happen, which it didn't, doesn't make a difference, because he's changed his life at this point for the better, and he's taught more people about their First Amendment, Fourth Amendment rights than almost every single person I've met combined. He's made it cool to know your constitutional rights. So yeah, have we all done shitty things in the past? I mean, shoot, if my whole life was up here on screen, you guys would poo, it's all bad stuff. But I think people need to get the beam out of their eye before they look at the sticks in our eyes. And even if we were murderers, robbers, drug dealers, if we made a conscious decision to change our life and be better, why wouldn't you guys be applauding that instead of still attacking us? So that's all I have to say about Anselmo. If you want, I'm not here to talk for him. This is not about him. I shouldn't even engage. That's his business. But if you want to talk about me or anything specifically that I've gotten wrong or done illegally, then yeah, I'm all for that.
All right, so the next question we have is, this person wants to know, why do you, and not just Anselmo, but other auditors in general, play it safe by mostly doing post offices, and how does he justify? Never mind, that's just part of it. Yeah, just start this with, why do you guys mostly do post offices? A lot of people, can think you're just playing it safe because, you do not want to be arrested. You don't want to deal with all that crap. Would that be a true statement?
Well, I wouldn't agree with that. No, I mean, okay. Chase got assaulted at a post office. I've been detained at a post office. I don't think there's any safe area, because when someone calls the police, it's really the only safe thing is that cop going to uphold the Constitution or not? So you got good cops that come and say, no, it's all right, they can do whatever, and they'll say, hey, you guys just don't mess with them. You're within your rights. And there's other cops that, I mean, you see it more often than not. Our rights are upheld, but we never know. I don't think going to a post office is actually any safer, because people are used to seeing cameras in a city hall or a state house, or even police stations. They're more used to it than a post office. So I don't.
So then it would be safe to say by your statement right there that you guys do post offices because you guys are going to get the reaction, and you're doing it for the clicks and views?
I would disagree with that. So what I'll actually give you a little behind the scenes hint here. What we do is we look for areas that we haven't been to, or we think need a follow-up. And like I said, we're not rich. We're taking all this money out of our own pockets. So we don't have a tour bus or anything like that. We don't have private jets. So we'll go to one town. Let's just say it's freaking Smithville. We'll go to Smithville. Well, our goal when we go out to do videos, we try to do 9 videos a day. So we'll go to Smithville on the map, hypothetical Smithville right there. We'll do post office, city hall, police station. Maybe we'll see if there's a jail around. Then we'll go to the next town or a closer town, and we'll do it all over and over and over and over again. So it's just basically about saving time more than it is hitting a particular area, because we believe the First Amendment should be unrestricted in all of these areas. So it's more just about time. I mean, if we had a a luxury jet like John Kerry or Jeffrey Epstein, and we just fly to state houses and city halls and we just follow around the top politicians. You know what I'm saying? Ask them the tough questions, but we just have to do what we can do while we can do it.
Now, back to the post office thing. Now, I think a lot of people, another way people can think you guys are playing it safe is a lot of times when you guys go to these post offices.
Well, anybody
you are
that we're playing it safe.
Can I finish? Hold on, let me finish. All right. When you guys go to these places and you run into some people that are saying, you know, they're violating your rights, they're saying you can't film here, right? You guys usually say, okay. Then the police officer comes in and says, you have to leave. Oh, or is that an order? Yes. Okay. Well, you know, I'm going to leave under duress. Now, don't you think it would serve the cause better if you should be arrested and make sure that that sort of thing doesn't happen again rather than folding and walking away and just dealing with the content?
Well, I'll give you the pros and cons. So some people would say yes, some people would say no. The pros on that are you have to be very, well, I'll tell you straight up. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, South Carolina, and Connecticut. Myself and Mr. America have spoke to several lawyers about egregious violations of rights where we didn't do anything wrong, whatever, didn't raise our voices, even in retaliation. And lawyers don't care. They don't care. I mean, I have heard there's other auditors that are successful with that.
Quite a few, actually. I'm sure you've heard of the Batusai.
I've heard of him, and I wanted.
Great. He's actually a really good auditor. He's a good auditor. He's an auditor. I see that's a misconception a lot of people have of me that I hate auditors. I don't hate you guys. There's a few that I don't like. I like the Batusai. I think the Rowdy Podcast is a decent auditor. I like a few. It's not that I hate them.
Well, I don't hate anybody. I mean, I lied. I mean, I really don't like Bill Gates. Bill Gates, I'm challenging you to a fight. Let's go to Texas, mutual combat states. We'll do it for charity. There's some people that I don't like. But getting back again, what was your question about the okay, so yeah, talking about, so if I get arrested and we got to go get arrested there, and yeah, I am working right now on litigating myself because that's the only person that I can trust. I can't trust anybody else. So I'm in the law library right now, and online, and with help from a few of my friends. And I currently have a case from last February 28th. I was arrested at a DCYF protest that I created, and that video is up for free. Anybody can go see it. And I basically asked several officers on scene that day when specifically does the First Amendment end in disorderly conduct begin, because I just want to be well aware of my parameters. They arrested me for disorderly conduct. Now, because of COVID, I still have another pre-trial coming up next month, and it's almost been a year against my trial. So with this case here, I'm litigating pro se because I didn't do anything wrong. And I've had other ones where they'll say, well, we'll dismiss this case if you do this or that. And it's like, we get locked up in some place we never been. They keep our phone, right? Then we can't come up with a video about what happened. And then they could keep our phone for months. And then so what? We just buy another video? So we just don't have the money for lawyers or a brand new iPhone every day to get arrested. I have been arrested for this multiple times, like at least twice. I've been detained too. So at the same time, you got to pick and I just can't. I could go out literally every day and get arrested. I could get arrested every single day, but
also that would make change, because if you were to find the right lawyer, like you're on the East Coast.
I'll tell you what, you can find me a lawyer, but right now I'm doing this by myself. I have been.
Well, I get it. I get it. And you got to find a lawyer that's going to take your cases.
Yeah, if I had a lawyer I could trust, I'd get locked up every time, and I'd be having money off lawsuits, and I have a big tour bus, a RV that make my reviews on it. And I don't.
Don't you think if you're going to do this, you should do it right and do it the right way and actually get change done instead of just YouTube clicks and views?
Well, what is your definition of getting change done? What is your definition of the right way? We can expose a tyrannic. We can expose
that and showing it and getting court to get it changed, getting it changed for people. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what a lot of people do. They get arrested. That's how change happens. It goes through the system. You find a lawyer, you do it. Other than that, you're doing it all for I mean, maybe you personally are doing it for clicks and views, because I know I don't think you are.
Respectfully,
I've never said that.
Yeah, well, respectfully, even if we don't get arrested, but we show the fact that I think Belle Isle is coming to my head. I could be wrong about that, Florida. They had a really, really tyrannical police station. Okay. We audited there, and then right before that was some other town in Florida. And the first one, it was Leesburg. The first one was Leesburg, Florida. They did a freaking great job. Amazing officers. They really cared about our constitutional rights. They took their oath to the Constitution seriously, and you could tell. And they said that. It's not a hard question to answer. But then we go to the next place, and they kick us out of a public lobby with the police chief. So it is all strategic too. So one, we exposed the Leesburg police. We had a massive amount of people calling the Leesburg Police Department, saying thank you for believing in our rights and standing up for our rights. And then conversely, we had a number of people call in and complain about Belle Isle. So it's not about clicks and views. I've never, ever gotten one red cent from YouTube. Now, my new channel, I just put it out there to be monetized because I finally met the requirements. But I'm not doing it for money. Even my old channel, I never got 1 cent. 1 cent.
Here's the thing, Will.
Views. Let me just say this last sentence so I hopefully understand it a little better. We're not doing this for clicks and views. We're doing this the most pragmatic way possible to expose tyranny.
Now, here's the thing. I think I've even said this before in different videos or in different live streams. I personally do not think you are an auditor that is doing it all for clicks and views. I do think you do want some sort of change to happen. I will give you that credit.
At the end of the day, you want clicks and views, right?
Let me finish. But let me finish here for a second. And someone I don't agree with. I don't think he's doing it necessarily for any kind of altruistic reason. I think he's doing it simply for the clicks and views. That's my opinion. You have a different opinion. You know him more. Fine, I get that. But you personally, no, I don't think you're doing it for clicks and views. But all right, so let's move on from that right now. Let's see, another question before we start letting people up here. Let's see. No, not that one. I have a question. So I'm not sure if you're still doing it, but on your old channel, I would go in and I'd look in your comment section, and there were people that would come on and they'd say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about with these conspiracy theories and all that," and you would attack them. I mean, if you believe in free speech, why are you attacking people for just disagreeing with you?
Well, one, if I wanted to, it's my free speech to attack somebody right back for disagreeing. But before they deleted my YouTube channel and before they deleted my Facebook, the thing that I would always say, and I've said it here on this video with you too, what specifically this is my number one retort. What specifically did I say that was factually incorrect? And I don't get answers on that. And what happens is nobody, and that's why anybody in the comments, anybody watching this, anybody that wants to debate me on anything that you said, I have an open debate challenge. I've never backed away from a debate. Never lost a debate either, because I only debate facts and I only use the Socratic method. So that's how I feel, bro.
Okay, that didn't really answer the question though. Like, there's times where people have just disagree with you, and you went on there to call them names and all this shit. It's on your old channel.
Well, I think you're mistaken, because I've never, if someone just says a negative comment about me, I always start with one specifically did I say, and even if I did, if someone wants to come on my video and say, oh, I get messages every day. Some of them are good messages, some of them are bad messages.
Right.
Some of them are good comments, some of them are bad comments.
Right.
And I'm just a regular guy, right? So
I get you.
I haven't been answering the comments like I used to, but sometimes I get a whole bunch of trolls saying, "Hey, Will, you're a pseudo-intellectual gangster wannabe. Why don't you go suck this?"
No, I've seen stuff like that.
And it's my First Amendment right, and I'm not perfect. Sometimes, yeah, I used to engage them. They'd be like, "Oh, who's on top? You or Anselmo?" Usually your grandmother when we're done skull fucking her, right? So I have the First Amendment to go right back at you guys. So you guys hate me, not you, but the commenters hate me for using my First Amendment. Then they use the First Amendment against me, so I'm gonna use it right back. Now I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to spread more love, but I'm just a regular fucking dude, dog. I'm just a regular.
I get it, and no,
let me just say one more thing, please. I've gotten, and I'm not just talking about from commenters, right? I've gotten death threats. I've gotten called out. I've get constantly people saying all this stuff to me, right? And every once in a while, I'm not going to be the better man, and I'm just going to say, fuck you too. Sorry, I'm not perfect, and I'm trying to be better. But that's how it is.
I get that, Will, and that wasn't
I'm going to fuck your mother and all this stuff, and oh, really? No.
No, I get that. And that wasn't an instance I'm talking about. I'm talking about an instance where someone has just disagreed with something you said, and you just went right on the attack.
Just to clarify, I would defy anybody to find a situation where if someone's just attacking what I said, I'll always first say, and I've been doing this for at least 5 years now, if someone is not, even if they are attacking me, but not like, it's okay. Like, if you insult me, but there's actually substance to what you're saying, I might respond to you. But if you just say, oh, fuck, suck a dick, fuck you, bitch, whatever. I only respond to people, and I don't really do it anymore, that I think there could be a genuine conversation there, right? So I always ask specifically, what did I say that was factually incorrect? Anytime I think that there's even a chance that we might gain something from each other, I will say specifically, what did I say that is factually incorrect? Now, will there be times after that one where it'll devolve into insults? Most assuredly. But I've never, if someone just asked me a genuine question or genuine criticism, I've never, ever just flew off the handle at them. Never.
Okay, so I'm gonna open it up to people that want to come on and ask Will a question. But before you do come on asking questions, this isn't simply just to attack Will, please. He did agree to come on here.
You guys can say whatever you want. You guys can say whatever you want. If you want to talk
within YouTube guidelines, let's keep it. Let's keep it.
To the masters at YouTube. You're right.
Well, you know.
We gotta be.
Don't want to lose my channel
while you're passing the StreamYard out. Exactly, because we have to appease YouTube and we have to get the clicks and views. Because otherwise, if I don't get any clicks and views, then nobody's gonna hear my message of being anti-war. No one's gonna hear my message of being pro freedom, right? No one's gonna hear me talk about the NSA or Jeffrey Epstein or the trillions in debt if we don't get clicks and views. So, am I going for clicks and views? Yes, because I want people to hear about the tyranny.
All right, so now we come on. Murph, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Kenny? How you doing, bro?
Not bad. How are you doing?
All right, good. Yeah,
welcome to the show. Got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's not so much a question. It's I'd like to know, you're worried about tyrannical cops and all that. Why don't you worry about that fucking 3-time loser that you hang out with that fucking sexually abuse women and beat women? How could you fucking be friends with a fucking lowlife like that? I mean, I don't understand.
Your icon say
that makes you look just as bad as him by hanging out with him. Okay,
so
that motherfucker got busted 3 times. I'm talking. Okay. That motherfucker got busted 3 times, bro, for fucking sexually harassing women, and you're right there up his ass. So in my eyes, that makes you a pussy like him, and that's all I got to say.
Well, I think that
go fuck yourself, you fucking faggot.
Okay. On his icon, it said respect everyone, and he was obviously hiding his face and his real name. So
all right. So next we got Morgan.
Bring it on.
Morgan, how are you?
Not the pussy, because you're the one that hung up and was hiding your face, idiot. You're the pussy. You wouldn't say that to my face.
Morgan, what's up?
Hey, Morgan. How you doing?
Hello, Turbitt. Listen, sweetie, you said that you're not into conspiracy theories yet. You just claimed about the Lusitania and the yellow journalism from Hearst and stuff like that.
That's not a conspiracy. That's mainline.
It is. It's a conspiracy theory because the Lusitania was actually a British ship. It had nothing to do with the Americans, except for the fact that it was well known at the time. Hang on. Let me finish.
Yeah, let her finish.
Let me finish. The what they were doing with the passenger ships, they were using them to take arms over from America to Britain to help with the war. But it had nothing to do with the Americans. It was a British ship.
So there were no Americans on board that ship?
No, there were Americans on board. There
that-
were always Americans on board, but there's only 129 Americans on board.
Oh, so only.
It was mainly a British ship.
Are you familiar with the righteous indignation? And do you know who Colonel Edward Mandell House is?
Don't know, don't care.
You don't care? Why not?
No, because for the simple reason that the same conspiracy theory came up with Winston Churchill.
I'm not talking about Winston Churchill.
No, I'm telling you that the same conspiracy. I am telling you that if you had done your homework, you would also find out that the same conspiracy theory came up with Churchill. But Churchill was not even the Lord of the Admiralty at the time.
That's great. I'm not talking about that whatsoever.
Yes, well, actually, you are, because it's exactly the same theory, just with different actors.
You're making a correlation which isn't there.
No. It's the same theory, but with different actors.
That's fine, but would you allow me to retort?
Go ahead.
Okay. There were American passengers on that ship, which is the reason which catapult us in there. So you saying that you're telling me that this is not a conspiracy, but you've never heard of Colonel Edward Mandell House means you're not this. I mean, he's one of the integral players in this. So saying that this is not a conspiracy theory without researching one of the most integral players in that, you're not operating off of all the facts. Respectfully, please go research Edward Mandell House and then come back to me, because you're missing a large amount of information in this equation. If you don't know who he is, and if you've never heard of his letter, then you're not really disagreeing with me. You're just complaining, and you don't have all the information. So, respectfully,
what has the letter got to do with it?
Did you hear what I said earlier?
What has the letter got to do with it?
Did you remember what I said about the wave of righteous indignation?
Who gives a flying fuck about wave of righteous indignation? That shit happened all the time. I mean, you may as well say the same thing happened with the German ship.
Don't change the subject. We're talking about this. Do you know who Edward Mandell House is?
No, I haven't got a clue.
Okay, so please go research him and get back to me. Thanks for your time.
What's it got to do with it? What I'm telling you. No.
That was integral to what I said.
It's got nothing to do with what you said.
No, okay, so I'm going to Google it right now. So bear with me, because it has everything to. I brought up his name first. That's why it has everything to do with it, because he was he was basically the puppeteer of Woodrow Wilson, and Woodrow Wilson is the president that got us into World War I. So if you don't know the guy that's puppeting Woodrow Wilson, then you really don't know about the situation. If you've never heard about the letter, then you're only arguing on a small amount of partial information.
It was a letter.
What letter?
Well, you just said it was a letter.
Yeah, people didn't have phones back then. That was the primary mode of communication at that time.
Well, actually, it was World War I. They did actually have phones.
All right, I'm going to pull it up right now, and you can take a look. Let's see.
That's okay. I can look it up for myself.
Okay, great. I hope you learned something.
Well, you're not teaching me anything.
Well, you never heard of Edward Mandell House, and now you have. So I've taught you something, whether you like it or not.
Sweetheart, he sent a letter. That's all he sent was a letter.
Okay. Do you know the contents of that letter? So I taught you something already, whether you liked it or not.
It's still got nothing to do with what happened.
It literally does.
It doesn't. For fuck's sake, you stupid little fucking idiot. You really are a moron, aren't you? So
yeah,
let me get this. No. Shush.
I'm a moron.
Shush. You're a moron. You're a moron.
Mean?
You democide. You rates.
Democide.
You guys bring
up all facts, and you can't just.
It's all conspiracy theory. It's conspiracy theory.
Okay. Okay. What specifically have I ever said which is factually incorrect?
Everything you say is even your First Amendment is factually correct, because you sit because you sit there and you say, oh, but this is the First Amendment, and I'm keeping people to their oaths. You don't even know how the First Amendment is actually applied.
Okay,
you sit there and you tell people, oh, but this is your First Amendment, this is your rights, and every time you get caught out because you don't know how it's applied.
Okay, so please
every time you walk into a post office,
who wrote the Bill
you get caught out.
Who wrote the Bill of Rights?
Yeah, what about it?
So who wrote it? You say that you know about it, and I don't. So please tell me, who wrote the Bill of Rights?
I'm not talking about the Bill of Rights. I'm talking about the Constitution.
The Constitution, the Bill of Rights are in the Constitution.
I'm talking about the Constitution.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is the document.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Constitution, which you have no idea
about. The Bill of Rights and the Constitution are two separate documents?
No, I'm just saying that that what you're talking about and what you claim to be
specifically
it was incorrect, because you don't apply the laws that go along with it. You just take it. You're just taking it straight as.
Give me an example.
Give me an example. All right. Well, let's go to your let's go to, well, number one, photography wasn't even a thing when that was written, so we'll go with that one. Under the First Amendment, you are not press. You might be a citizen journalist, but that doesn't allow you any extra.
What is the specific definition of press as opposed to a citizen journalist?
Well, citizen journalist, you're just a moron with a camera, and you're not actually you're not recognized. You are not recognized.
Okay, and what agency has to recognize me in order to be press?
You're just not recognized. You're not recognized by anybody. You're not recognized by the courts. You are not recognized by the courts. You're not recognized by anybody else.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, so let's get that. Let's get that. That's why you get arrested on that. That's why you get arrested on a regular basis, because you have no standing. That is the problem. That's the thing. You have no standing. You are not recognized as press. None of you are recognized. None of you are recognized as press as far as the courts are concerned. Okay, so let's get that straight. Let's get it out of your head now. All right?
Great.
Let's get it out of your head now. You are not press. You are not journalists.
Kenny Klein, would you agree that I'm not press?
I say you're an independent journalist.
I wanted to know, because she's saying that we're not.
He's not an independent journalist. He's not. He has no qualifications to be a journalist. He has nothing to do with journalism. What he is a conspiracy.
Kenny, I'm trying to have a good conversation here,
and I'm debunking you.
No, you're not letting me talk. I mean,
no, hold on. Let's go back to this.
I'll shut up.
Can we do one thing at a time here?
Let's go back to this Colonel Edward Mandelhouse. I just looked this up, and I read the letter, and I'm not seeing what the letter had to do with your original argument. Well,
okay, sorry, I didn't. I put down my phone when I was. She just kept talking and not giving one specific fact. So I apologize. Give me a second to look this up. I'm on the fly here. Ay, Dios mío.
Because the letter is pretty bad, but I don't understand how it correlates with.
Okay. Do you want to? Okay, where did you find it? Because I'm finding different results on this Google here.
That's the thing. Is there more than one letter? Because one I found is he's predicting.
There are letters, but hold on one sec.
He's pretty much predicting Social Security. It looks like.
Yeah, no, that's not. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to find it. I'm sorry. It's. I'm using my computer and I'm on my phone, so give me one moment. Edward. You guys can shoot another question or whatever if you want, but please limit it to like one question at a time so I can handle it and be specific about facts. Because otherwise, if you're just going to call me a moron and say I'm not using the First Amendment, you gotta get one fact at a time here. You know.
All right, so Lavender, you're here. What's up? Do you have something for Will while he's doing that?
Yeah, why don't you wear a mask? Is COVID not real?
Well, I wear a mask in private businesses because private businesses is just an extension of somebody's house. It's their house. They can tell you wear a mask. They can tell you no shoes, no shirt, no service. They can tell you throw on a suit jacket. And anybody's private property, they can tell you to do whatever you want. Take off your shoes when you get in there. So if I feel like doing business in a private establishment, I will most assuredly put a mask on because that's their house. That's their business. However, in public, I do not. And also in public buildings, I refuse to wear masks. It has really nothing to do with the fact that COVID is or is not real. I mean, if you buy a regular box of the blue and white ones, it says right there it's not effective. Dr. Fauci himself has said it's not effective. That's why now they're going to double, triple masks. If you really wanted to be healthy from this, you would wear a mask, goggles, and gloves and change them after every interaction. I actually believe that your own immune system is the best defense on it. Also, it's a flu that's 99.93% survival rate, and even Donald Trump with spray tans and Diet Coke survived it. I'm not worried about COVID whatsoever. There will be some times where if there's a little old lady on the street, I'll put the mask over my face because some people actually believe.
So you're not worried about COVID, but what about the people that you may be infecting? Because you've come in contact with another anti-masker that has it, and now you're going to spread it to your mom or whatever, whoever you got your whisk from. So it's not about you, it's about everybody else.
Well, sure. I also don't think that, I mean, even before COVID came out, the CDC said, I mean, anybody can just look it up. Germs travel 20 to 30 feet, not 6 feet. So 6 feet of social distance doesn't do anything. And masks actually don't protect you. They don't protect you or the other person. Dr. Fauci has said that himself on video. And that's all I see. He's talking double tripping masks. And so it's actually it's really show. It doesn't do anything.
It's not show.
Okay, so what specifically?
That's you and Anselmo's new word, isn't it? Specifically.
Well, what? Okay, so
last week's
so tell me
videos specifically.
Yes, Lavender Mex, you're absolutely right. So specifically, what does the mask do that protects other people?
If I'm coughing, I'm not going to be able to cough directly on someone. It stops it because you know that sneezes travel at 250 miles an hour. If I have a mask on, it's going to slow that down, and 6 feet, it probably will not go.
So you're saying that a mask would stop the spread of microscopic particles? And if so, what are you basing that on?
No, she's saying it's going to slow it down. She never said it's going to stop it. She just said slow it down.
Okay, so what evidence do you have to back up the fact that a mask is going to stop tiny particulates that are smaller?
I didn't say that, did I?
Okay, so
why are you asking me that question?
You said it's going to slow it down. So how specifically?
I didn't say let's. Yes,
it's going to slow it down because if something's in front of something, the mask on the box, it's going to slow it down.
The mask on the box says it doesn't do it. So are you guys disagreeing with what it says on the regular box?
It says it doesn't prevent it, but it says it reduces it.
In the box.
It helps you.
Okay. So
it doesn't.
So if you think that masks reduce the spread, you have to tell me what you're thinking. Okay. So and I'm not saying I disagree with you, but if you're going to say that.
Common sense tells me this. You put a tissue in front of your face.
The actual science tells you.
Okay, so what science are you referring to specifically?
The science of the fact that the droplets that you expel are the bigger risk than the airborne particles.
And where are you getting that from, sir?
Dr. Fauci.
Science.
Dr. Fauci?
Yeah, he's the one talking about the droplets.
Okay, well, Dr. Fauci also said that masks were ineffective. So which is it?
Well, that was back before Trump left office.
Actually, it was that theory and has actually been proven, and has been proven since the Spanish flu of 1915.
Okay, first of all, I'm not disagreeing necessarily with any of you, but nothing is scientifically ever proven, right?
There are a lot of
things that have been scientific.
If you interrupt me, I'm going to leave, right? I'm being nice to talk to a bunch of people that hate me, right? Okay?
It doesn't matter. You like to cut off Kenny.
I'm not going to respond. I'm letting you guys
quit acting. Quit being condescending.
Hold on, guys. Let him get his point, and then you guys can retort, okay?
Yeah, I'll give you guys all the time you want. You can never, ever, ever prove anything scientifically. There can be correlations made, right? What? But there's no proof scientifically. That's why the whole point of the scientific method is that should be able to be replicated over and over and over and over again. And you could come out with a bunch of things, but until you take out every single other correlation, anybody that knows anything about the scientific method means you can't prove anything with science. You can point to certain correlations which may or may not be true, but you can never. The whole idea of the scientific method is that you can't prove anything. You can continually test it, but there is no such thing as scientific proof.
He's right on that. It's all
Kenny, I'm starting to like you more and more, brother. We're gonna go get these tyrants.
What do you mean?
Stop
there's
using
no scientific
that
proof?
word too.
Where did you get your degree on science, Morgie?
University of Sydney.
Really? And so you're a scientist. What field do you work in?
I've worked in a few.
Oh, really? So what does your work entail? It's very interesting. I've never.
I'm not letting you know anything. But let's
subject.
Yeah, changing the subject.
No, I'm just curious because if I'm listening to an authority here, you haven't given me any facts yet. I was just like, oh, maybe you can provide me with some facts if you're an actual scientist.
I just gave you the facts. I've said that that it has been proven since the Spanish.
So if you're obviously lying because you can't have a science degree, and me and Kenny, no offense, Kenny, but we're not the smartest people in the world. Tell you that nothing can be scientifically proven. You would know that
things can be scientifically. Let's put it this way: if nothing can be scientifically proven, why are you here?
That's a good question. Now we're getting into philosophy. Why am I?
No. Why are you here? If science can't be proven, why are you here?
Why am I here?
Why are you alive? Why do you breathe?
That's a good question. That's actually more of a philosophical question. Why I'm here?
No, it's not. No,
it's more of a philosophical question. Why are we here? Where do we come from?
No, it's not.
Okay, so it's a scientific question.
Science has already proved that it's how it's actually worked.
Science proved what?
Well, if you're going to go into philosophy, then you've got to go into religion as well. But science has actually proved how evolution works.
Science proved evolution works? When did they do
that? How evolution has brought us to where we are now.
Oh, really? When did they prove the theory of evolution? Because last I checked, there was a large debate about that, even amongst some participants in the scientific community. When specifically did they find out that the theory of evolution was true? This must have happened before the show because I missed it.
A little thing called the Big Bang Theory.
So a theory, that's a theory, right? Is a theory fact?
Well, it's actually being proven as fact. So
how did they prove the Big Bang?
Okay. Well, let's get at this.
I'll tell you how they prove the Big Bang if you want the actual answer.
Okay, guys. Okay,
please.
Hold on. Will, hold on. Will. Okay, look. We're getting into something that I don't really want to get into this. It really is a debate on that one. Let's not go that far on this one because that's going to get us way off of track, and we've already taken some rabbit holes that we don't need to take.
I still want to know.
Sorry, so Hank, do you have anything you want to ask me? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Lavender.
I still want to know why he won't wear.
Can we do one at a time, Morgie? Let's let Hank talk.
Hold on. So it's Lavender's asking a question.
All right, Lavender, your turn.
It's the same question.
Okay.
Why won't you wear a mask in public?
Why won't I wear a mask in public?
Yes.
Why not?
COVID not real to you?
No, I didn't say it wasn't real. Never said that. I just believe.
I asked the question. I didn't accuse.
I'm sorry? You didn't ask
what I asked a question. I didn't accuse.
Oh, okay. No, I don't wear a mask in public because, you guys may agree or disagree with how preventative the mask would be. I think there's more of a debate there than you guys are giving me credit from. That's fine. But I honestly believe that exposing myself to everything is actually a good thing. I don't even have to say this, but I passed the COVID test. I recently had a surgery and I passed the COVID test. I'm COVID free.
You were
right now.
Then. Yeah, I'm COVID free right now, and so it honestly, it's my right to do what I want to choose. I mean, I bet you here amongst this chat, I'm not pointing any fingers here. I mean, there's other people that do other harmful things to their health. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're not talking about other people.
Yeah, no. So
or
I choose
other things. We're talking about.
I'll give you the short answer. I choose not to wear a mask. One, because I don't find it effective. Two, because I find that it hinders breathing and could also cause some problems with bacteria, asthma as well. And I don't think that it is not the government's right to tell me what or what not to wear on my face. So that's why I do not wear a mask in public.
Well,
so
it all
my question
to that. Okay.
So the question, my question, so even in a health emergency, some sort of health crisis, you don't believe the government should take extra precautions to protect the majority from the minority that don't want to do this?
Let me ask you a question and I will answer that. Do you love the United States and do you believe in the Constitution?
I do.
Okay. So I'm going to read less than a paragraph right here. This is the only thing that the government has the power to do. And it says it right here. I'm reading, if you guys are scoring at home, it's the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. This is very important to pay attention. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator.
I don't need to hear this.
You obviously want to be here because you're spending your time on it to be here. So if you don't want to hear this, you can go. Just go. But I'm trying to talk. I listened respectfully when you were trying to talk. If you don't want to listen, go. If you have something better to do, then
you
just go.
Can't tell me to leave here.
I can tell you.
Think you are.
You're saying that I don't have the deserve to talk, but you're asking me a question. So either I deserve.
I didn't ask you a question. I said I don't need to hear this.
Okay, so you can.
I don't need you.
Here. No one's forcing you to be here.
Oh, okay. Hold on, guys.
I want to be here because I support Kenny.
I'm juggling five questions here from five people.
Let him finish it.
Yeah, let him finish.
So we can go on.
I'm doing the best I can here.
Oh
no, the government does not have the right. It says these people are secure, endowed by the Creator by certain unalienable rights. That means our rights cannot be taken away. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the government. So it says right here, according to the Declaration of the Independence, the only thing that the government is supposed to do is to secure our rights. They're not there to protect us during a pandemic. As a matter of fact, we had a pandemic during the Revolutionary War, and instead of cowering like little bitches in a house, George Washington was out there murdering redcoats. Not that I approve of murder, but that's what he was doing. So you're either on the side of me, the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and George Washington, or you're on the side of Bill Gates.
Declaration of Independence is the Constitution.
It's a part. No, I know it's not the Constitution. I said you're either on my side, the side of the Declaration, the Constitution, and George Washington, or you're on the side of Bill Gates. So it's up to you. I mean, I'm happy on my side of things.
Good.
Wait. Bill, where the fuck did Bill Gates come in here?
Well, Bill Gates is the main.
Oh, I shouldn't have asked that, should I?
No.
Good question. Where did he come from? You guys are all taking medical advice from Bill Gates. He's not a doctor. He's the number one.
No, we're not.
In the world. Lavender, are you going to let me talk? Go ahead. You talk.
Will.
Talk. Go ahead.
Good. Great.
No,
we're not all taking our advice from Bill Gates. So you need to start using the phrase, in my opinion.
Do you believe in the World Health Organization?
I'm taking my advice from me, who has had COVID.
Okay, where are you
getting? My 25-year-old son has had COVID. So I'm taking my advice from me. And my body.
Okay, so you take your advice from your body. Did a doctor or test or you or your body tell you that you had COVID?
A test and a doctor in the hospital.
So you're not going by yourself, you're going by the doctor in the hospital. Okay, that's fine. So are you saying what Bill Gates has been saying is incorrect?
I don't even know what he's saying.
Well, what the fuck is he saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, I'm just letting you know.
I don't understand why this is such a big deal.
Well, I'm just letting you know. There's the question about the mask, and Kenny followed up and he said, should government even be able to tell you if maybe there's a public health outrage? You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's an outbreak, a pandemic. Can the government do that? Do you believe, Will, that the government should have the right to do that? And what I said is no. I read from the Declaration. I could also continue reading from the Constitution. And I'm also on the same side as our founding fathers, albeit they were not perfect people. So there's two, and that's the dichotomy that I was showing right there is there's one side over here with this idiot, me, the Constitution, the Declaration, the founding fathers, George Washington, and there's this other side who are pretty much falling in the same line as what Bill Gates is saying. So I'm just painting a dichotomy here of things. That's all I was trying to do to illustrate a point.
All right, so you do realize though that during the Spanish flu that they did take the government to court over the mask mandate and they lost. The president can declare.
Also know that. The president can. You also know at that time women didn't have the right to vote. You also know at that time.
But it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. It's still the same. So they can do it. Is the point?
Okay, sorry. That's not technically correct. And the way I would say
it's technically correct.
Okay, let me retort. The government did slavery for a long time. Was that constitutional?
And they can't do it. And they can't do it now.
My retort to you would be, just because the government does something doesn't make it legal. I think you would agree with me on that, right? The government does tons of things that are illegal and holds up a bunch of unconstitutional things all the time.
But
can we agree there?
To him.
Can we agree there, Kenny, that the government, just because it's something that the government does, one doesn't make it moral, two doesn't make it right, and three doesn't make it legal?
Your own.
I can't hear you.
His statement was that the mask mandate was brought up all the way through the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it passed.
It held.
Okay.
It's legal for the government.
And do you know that the same thing happened? The same thing happened with Jim Crow. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they said separate and equal. So is that right too? So you think we should go back to desegregation because the Supreme Court upheld that?
It was at that time until the Constitution was changed.
Yeah, the point is
they changed the Constitution to where it's illegal.
So let's base our.
But from this point back, it has been legal by the Constitution.
Yeah, it's legal.
What's legal?
Doesn't necessarily mean it's right.
Okay.
No. The government issuing mask mandates is legal.
Where in the Constitution does it mention mandates?
It was in no. Hold on, let me look it up. I'll find it. It was passed.
Is a mandate a law? Read it? Where specifically in the Constitution does it mention mandates?
Amendment.
The Fifth Amendment mandates?
It's presidential.
Yes, because it's
emergency declarations
covered by the Constitution.
Well, okay, where does it say presidential emergency declarations in the Constitution, Kenny?
It wasn't put in the Constitution. It was something that was added after to deal with, because we are a reactionary country. They didn't think of that back then, so they added it in. Kind of like how our Constitution is always evolving.
They did think of that. We literally fought the Revolutionary War during an outbreak. This was they definitely thought about this. We fought a war during this. So it's not something that they didn't predict. We knew this.
It's a National Emergencies Act of 1975.
Okay. Let's pull back here. Okay. Let's pull back here.
Are you aware of the 10th Amendment?
I'm absolutely aware of the 10th Amendment. I'm very aware of the 10th Amendment. I carry it around all the time, and it says that the states can provide for the general welfare. However,
it also says that anything not covered by the Constitution
goes to the states and the people.
Can be covered by the
states and the people. I know. And that's the reason why it's the 10th, because anything said, okay, so this is a perfect example, right? The 10th Amendment, hypothetically, there's a hypothetical here. Let's just say we have a tyrannical governor of Pennsylvania, and he thinks it's best for the general welfare of the public to take everybody's Second Amendment right away. Well,
that's not covered under the 10th Amendment.
I'm not even getting a chance to finish here, guys.
Well, you're taking it away. That's not covered under the 10th Amendment, because the 10th Amendment, you have to
exactly my point.
The guidelines of the Constitution.
Exactly my point. And so look. I mean, I like that Candy pointed that out. The National Emergencies Powers Act. My purview here is just because we've let a lot of time pass and unconstitutional things happen. I mean, I could give off a litany of unconstitutional things that they're happening, but that doesn't really make it right or legal or moral or constitutional. And we could have arguments about that, but that's the way I feel.
Kenny, can I jump in?
I think I'm here to back you up, Will. These cats giving you a bunch of nonsense, man.
Hey, I don't care.
All right, hold on, guys.
I want to say one more thing. Shout out to Joe Cool. I want to say one thing. This up until this point, it's an hour and 29 minutes. I'm probably going to go in like a half hour because I got other stuff to do. But up until this point, nobody has pointed out one thing specifically that I said, which is factually incorrect. And I want to thank really quickly Kenny Klein for being very respectful and cordial so far in this interview and having me on. But I'll take any other questions or comments that you got for at least the next hour.
So actually, when you're talking about the mask mandate, you were wrong on that. I just proved you wrong with the fact that the national mask mandate, the president can tell you you have to wear a mask. Now, your argument of is brutality or not, is not relevant.
No, because I said we're in the Constitution is a mandate, and as a matter of fact, I've actually had them printed out for me at a number of state houses. First of all, a mandate and an executive orders are not law. They're not mentioned in the Constitution, so they're inherently unconstitutional, first and foremost. Secondly, in every single one of those mandates, and I have them printed out, there are exceptions. So
I agree, there are.
So I'm not wrong on that. I'm absolutely not wrong about that. Mandate is not law. Executive order is not law. They're not in the Constitution, and even the mandates have exceptions. I was not wrong about that.
Hey, Kenny.
All right, go ahead, debate me.
Okay, so as far as the mask and what you said about Dr. Fauci, so one of the key things that you're doing is you are getting caught up on what Dr. Fauci said over a year ago and ignoring what he's been saying for over 12 months. Now, in fact, what Dr. Fauci said was not that masks do not work. What he did is he lied to us by pretending as if they don't work because he was trying to protect the inventory. And if you listen to what he said, let me finish what I'm saying. If you listen to what he actually said, he basically was saying that if you don't use the mask properly, then they don't work well. And he was suggesting that most people did not use them properly. But here's the thing about the masks. So you mentioned that masks don't stop COVID, right? That's what you said before?
Debate. It's your contention debate that masks are effective.
I'm talking to Will right now.
Hold on,
Will,
guys, hold on. You're saying they are effective, yes?
I'm talking to Will right now. So Will, do you believe that the masks don't stop COVID?
Which mask? There's several masks.
The masks that people are wearing.
Well, there's a number of masks. What could you be able to
Okay, the typical mask that people wear, on average, the mask that people are wearing.
If you're talking about the regular mask that is on one blue and on one side white, it says on the box that it's not effective. It says
that's not my question. So you believe your answer is that you
believe anything. I'm just telling you what the box says. I'm not making a belief. I'm just stating a fact.
But he's asking you what you believe. He's asking you what you believe.
What I believe is the box says it's not effective. So why would I believe otherwise? Would you think that the box would perfectly lie?
You're dancing around. So let me tell you what it is.
I'm not dancing around. I'm saying the box says no. It says the box says it says the box says it doesn't work. So why would I believe? Why would I?
Hold on, Will.
I get it, but let me see. What you're saying is you believe that the virus can go through the mask. You are absolutely correct. Yes, the virus is smaller than the mask and it can fit through it. But the point of the mask is not to be perfect and so that you wear the mask, you can't get COVID. It's to reduce transmission.
Okay. And since we're here,
hold on. Let him finish.
You cannot get as much particles with a mask on, especially if other people are wearing it, as without. So what it does is it reduces transmission by say 20 to 30%. So
where are you doing those numbers from?
Hold on. You can still get infected wearing a mask, but the percentage of people infected drops when everybody wears a mask. So that is the point.
Where are you taking this number from? You said 20, 30% and the percentage drops. What data or scientific studies are you basing that information on, or are you just pulling that out?
If you really want to know, it's all over the internet.
I don't know. That's not an answer. You can't. Sorry, no offense, but I've backed up everything that I said. You can't just make a claim about 20 to 30% and then say it's on the internet. You know what else is on the internet?
Okay, you are correct.
There's kids unboxing toys. There's child porn on the internet. Doesn't make it. Doesn't make it true.
Will, you're correct.
Conspiracies.
Will, you are correct. I cannot cite you
back to me with some facts.
I cannot cite you a link right now.
Until you can cite me something with facts, you can't argue.
If anybody Googles it, they'll find it.
I've been here for an hour and 35 minutes. I've dealt with a scientist, a lavender person, and not one of them. All these people.
Lavender Mexican.
Not one of them have given me one piece of scientific evidence at all, and they're yelling at me.
The final thing.
All right, can someone else get in?
Facts.
Well, I'm gonna jump off.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
I'm gonna jump
Can
off. I
another
just want to say
motherfucker
the
talk,
First
or is it
Amendment.
just you two
Yeah,
niggas talking?
hold on, everyone. Okay, look, everyone's getting a little too excited. We need to calm this down. Now, debate me and fake or Will, you guys are going. Did you guys need to continue? Then we're gonna let Joe get in, and then Morgan, you can get in. Debate me, fake news, just real quick. Finish up your guys' conversation. That way, Joe can get involved.
No,
Please,
I want to comment on it. My comment won't take but a second.
Okay,
I wonder if Debate Me would agree that I think he does that the mask does not stop the virus itself from passing in between. Even in N95, all of that shit is in effect of stopping the virus passing. All it stops is spittle and things of that nature. Would you agree with that, Debate Me?
It reduces transmission. That's all it does. The virus can still
That's
get through.
not what I asked you, bro. How does it reduce? Can the virus itself pass through the mask? Debate Me.
Some of it can, yes.
Some of it? Are you saying that it's big enough?
Okay,
the mask catches virus.
I want to jump off. I want to jump off so I can let other people jump on. So the last thing for Will. So you said you know what the First Amendment is, right?
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here in my hand.
So does the First Amendment give you the right to free speech?
No, the First Amendment does not give you the right. It's actually a protection against what the government cannot do with your rights.
Okay. All right, that's correct. Because a lot of auditors,
I'm getting all these answers
going around acting as if right to free speech.
All right, that's correct.
Thank you. I'm passing the test over here, guys. Thank you.
All right. Is that? I'm out. Hold on. Dr. G, who is this? Dr. G, who is this? Hello, are you there?
He's muted.
Yeah. Dr. G, I need you to say something or I'm going to drop you.
Hi. Yes. Hi. Hi. Yes, I'm actually a college professor who actually.
Okay. I need you to say something or I'm going to drop you.
Hi. Yes. Hi. Hi.
You need to turn down the Dr. G. You need to turn down the stream on the volume on the stream. You need to turn down the volume on the stream so we can hear you. DFK, what's up?
Hey, what's
I
going
think
on?
this is DFK. All right, Julie.
I got one thing real quick for Will. He said this a little while ago as I was getting ready to go jump in the shower. Just got in the shower. I don't know if he's answered this or not.
Are we done talking about masks? Because I have a question.
We'll wrap it up and then we'll let you ask one question.
Hey, Will,
we'll wrap it up.
I'm listening. I can barely hear, but go ahead.
So,
you had said
hold on, Julie. DFK is going to ask one quick question,
okay.
Then you can ask your question.
You had said that the government has no right to tell you what you can and cannot wear or must wear on your face, or something really close to that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What parts of your body does the government have control over on your body and what you can, cannot, and must wear?
Well said, DFK.
None. They have no control. The government, as it says right here very clearly in the Declaration of Independence.
You had said that the government has no right to tell you what you can, cannot, must, or must not wear on your face. Now, the part of that gets to me, do you ride in a car? Do you wear a seatbelt? Why? Is it by your choice or is it because the government tells you you must? Do you ride a motorcycle? Do you wear a helmet? Why? Because the government tells you to or because it's your own choice to do so?
DFK, when he walks down the street, is he naked? No, government won't allow it.
That's a great point, Joe Cool. That's a great point.
To certain parts.
That's a great point, Joe Cool.
You can legally be naked in your front yard. Nobody can say a fucking word to you as long as you're not there drawing attention to certain parts of the anatomy. It is not illegal.
Depends on the state. Depends on the state too.
Okay, totally agree. On your private property, you should be able to do anything that is within your own purview. That's not illegal.
I'm saying I think DFK has an argument. Will, I'm interested in hearing your counter argument.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I actually think I believe that the government doesn't have the right to tell you anything. And it says right here in the Declaration of Independence that government gets their powers from the consent of the government, and that we, the people, created the government to secure our inalienable rights. So for them,
I'm with you, Will. By the way, I'm with you, bro.
But the Declaration
is not law.
Is not law.
The Declaration of Independence.
That's true, Dr. G. The Declaration is not law. But if you take a look at the history of the United States, the Supreme Court and other many lower courts have been using the Declaration of Independence.
No, they haven't. They haven't. That would be like you using.
That the Supreme
That would be like you grabbing Moby Dick and reading Moby Dick in court and saying this was written during.
Okay, so Dr. G, you're a college professor, and you're
yes, I am.
And you're telling me right now that the Supreme Court has never talked about the Declaration of Independence?
Well, it has talked about it. It has always ruled that it is not law.
What do you mean it's always ruled? The Declaration is always ruled? What do you mean by that?
No. Now, this is where listening is fundamental. While the Supreme Court has referenced the Declaration of Independence, when it has referenced the Declaration of Independence, it is in response to briefs that have mentioned the Declaration of Independence. Yet the Supreme Court, now listen, yet the Supreme Court has time and time again stated that the Declaration of Independence has no bearing on our law. It's not law. It is a Did
I ever say the Declaration was a law?
It is a declaration of war. It is as important.
I never said the Declaration was law. I never said that.
It isn't. So, but yes, referencing it.
But that's where listening comes in real important, because you would hear that I didn't say that, and you're jumping to conclusions of something.
You're giving it
hijacked.
You're giving it the same power as the Constitution, and that's totally.
You're putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
You inferred the hell out of it, though.
Yes, the reason. Yes.
Why reference it?
Why reference it?
It has nothing to do with whether or not the law can make you wear a mask. Why reference it? Again, I might as well be reading you a page of Moby Dick and claiming that that is my reference for you to have to wear a mask.
By the way, I tried to read Moby Dick. I couldn't get through it. I can't do the old English books. Just can't do it.
Me neither, but that's okay.
Yeah, I got one this big. Ain't cracked the page. I'm over
it. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, it is as relevant to the argument as Moby Dick or Little Women or name your favorite book.
Okay, well, let me retort. I would disagree with you respectfully, because the Declaration of Independence basically says the reason why we made this country.
It's a declaration of war. That's all it is.
Okay. Okay, well, you're going to let me finish? I just like 30 seconds here.
Go for it.
So the Declaration is a declaration of war. I never said it wasn't. It's not even a declaration. It technically is. It's a declaration of independence, saying kiss our ass. But it's saying the reason we're declaring war on you is because it says right here that all men are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights. Right? So if the Declaration is telling us why we created the government, we the people,
it carries some weight.
The whole reason that we're kicking King George off is that we have inalienable rights. And then we make the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that is supposed to define our inalienable rights. And I would think, yes, it does. It does play a lot of things, because the government is trying to do something that is against our rights. And I'm saying the Constitution and the Declaration say that government was created to secure our rights. So when you try to take away my rights, and I reference the Constitution and the Declaration, which say that this was, it basically says this country was created to secure our rights. So when people are doing the opposite of our rights, I'm going to use the Declaration and the Constitution as examples of why this country was created. It's to secure our rights, not to wear masks.
I understand you 100%.
Well, okay, then give me 30 seconds to read to you the Moby Dick and use the same, because you're seriously trying to argue that the Declaration of Independence has validity here.
No, I never said that. I never said it had validity. This is where listening.
No, you keep saying.
No, you just said you just said that because it tells us we have our inalienable rights, that it gives it validity. So you did give
use the word. You certainly used something similar. Yeah,
you did.
So validity. Okay, that's fine. But validity, maybe I thought you're talking about in the legal argument. It doesn't make a difference what you say. You can read Moby Dick, but it says quite clearly in the Constitution as well. The reason I brought up the Declaration is because the Declaration makes it very clear why we created government in the first place, right?
Yeah,
so
I would agree with that.
So the difference between Moby Dick and the Declaration is this. The Declaration was a document created by our founding fathers to say why we have government. Why do we have government? to protect us from tyranny. So Moby.
Okay, but but to be fair to Moby Dick is Ahab's explanation why he had to kill Moby Dick.
All right, I never read Moby Dick, nor do I care.
Apparently, none of us have.
So, I think I've done a pretty good job here.
I'm just saying.
I've got about 15 minutes left. Well. You know, people have been attacking me all night, and I've yet to hear one scientific fact, one fact where I've been incorrect at all. I've been as polite as I can, dealing with a bunch of people yelling and screaming at me.
Well, will I post the link in the chat for you?
Let me say one more. I got 15 minutes. If you want to make it good, if anybody's got any facts, any specific thing I said wrong, anything to back up what you're saying, I'll have at it. But you got 15 minutes because I got to take a peek. I got to eat.
I don't know you. I only complain with you.
And I'll tell you what, if you guys want to, if Dr. G, Julie, any of these.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna stop real quick because Julie has something she wanted to say. Julie's been waiting very patiently, so I'm gonna let Julie go, and then we'll let other people go. Okay, Julie, go ahead.
Julie, did you want to say something?
Thanks. I really don't care what you think of masks. Yeah, I really don't care what you think about masks because, I mean, I work in healthcare. I've watched people die from COVID. I don't really care about your opinion. But my thing is going back to your auditing. If you want us to take you seriously and you want to call out Jeffrey Epstein and all these other people about pedophiles, how come you're not calling out the pedophiles and the racists in your own community? They're making all of you look bad.
That's a good point.
I think it's a poor argument.
Okay. Well, I'll just have you know, first and foremost, one, never ask anybody ever to take me seriously. Two, in my own community, I'll have you know that this is nothing personal to auditors. I've been an activist years before I was an auditor. I've been cop watching years before even most of these auditors are even out there. So.
Okay, but they say they're doing the same thing as you. They're cop watching. They're protecting our rights.
Let me tell you. I'll be very honest with you.
Hold on, Will. Let her finish.
Look back.
Go ahead.
Sure. Well, you know what?
They're making you look bad. I'm not saying anything particular to you. I may not like you, and I may not agree with a lot of the things you have to say, and that's fine. I'm an adult. I can agree to disagree with you. But I think it's very hypocritical to call out people like Jeffrey Epstein when you have people who are saying they're doing the same thing you're doing, and you have nothing to say about them beating up women, raping their own daughters.
There you are. Leaving an audit
doing all that other
stuff. Now you have a good argument.
They're making your movement bad.
That's fair. What I will say in response to that is, what I was going to say is, I don't watch auditing videos. I've maybe seen 20 total in my life auditing videos. I do not spend my time watching auditing videos. Do I know some other auditors? Yes, but I don't watch auditing videos, and I'll tell you why. I go out, I deal with cops all day, I deal with everything all day. The last thing I'm going to do when I go home is watch more interactions with police. I've got stuff to learn. I've got other things to do. Auditing is just one small fragment of what I do. So one, I know some auditors. Yeah, I'm a little bit chummy with Amagansett Press. Shout outs to News Now South Carolina. I have decried racism before on air from an auditor once it was brought to my attention, and I totally decried it. And secondly, I don't know who you're referring to about pedophilia, but in every movement, that's ever happened across the world, there's bad people, there's crazy people, there's people that latch on it. I'm not going to stop expressing my rights because bad people want to get into it. I can't stop them from doing that. I've exposed pedophilia here nationally. I've exposed it here locally. So anybody that's a pedophile, I decry you.
So expose it in your own community.
Hey, Julie, quick comment.
I'll tell you, Julie.
Comment, Julie.
I'll do it right now, Julie. I'll do it right now, Julie. I decry anybody that's a pedophile. I decry anybody that's a racist. But like I said, I don't even know who you're talking about. I've already decried one person as a racist, and I don't really want to get into it because I've already done that and whatever. I decry all racists. I decry all pedophiles. I don't know that there's an auditor that's a pedophile. If that's true, that's news to me. I've never heard this. But like I said, I don't even watch auditors. When I get out of here, when I'm done with my activism for the day, I've got a stack of books right here. I've got YouTube videos I watch. I've got lectures I listen to. I've got documentaries. I've literally watched probably less than 20 audit videos. So there's people in my community that are pedophiles and racists. There are people there are doctors that are pedophiles and racist. There are nurses that are pedophiles and racist. Do they take away from the good doctors? No. There are cops that are pedophiles and racist. Cops get caught like every month as part of pedophiles. Should all cops quit? No. There's always going to be bad eggs in every movement. Theodore Roosevelt, who himself was kind of a bad egg in certain aspects, he said there's always going to be crazies attracted to every movement, but it shouldn't take away from the people that are trying to do good work. Are there doctors? I mean, there's a doctor in the UK a few years ago who was like engraving his name on people's organs. And there was another doctor that was putting people out and raping them with anesthesia.
And here's the thing. Well, I think she agrees with you on that, but I think her point was not just you in general, but not just you. There's other auditors that will not call out these people. They'll still work with these people.
I'll tell you what.
They'll still support these people.
For anybody else. I can't speak for anybody else, but you put a pedophile on my plate. And I'll say one more thing, because this is very important. This is very important. The government in the past has made up charges against white and black people and Spanish people alike. Look up COINTELPRO for one example.
Oh my God.
Hey, Julie.
You can't blame everything on the government.
Hey, Julie.
No, I'm serious. So like all I'm trying to. This is what I'm here talking about. The government. This is the whole reason to talk. Just because, and even if someone is found guilty of a crime, like I said, live and direct on the air, they've gotten people out of jail. 5 people, they're not even lawyers, for crimes that they didn't commit. So I decry pedophilia. I decry racism. But even just because they call somebody a racist or pedophile does not necessarily make them one. But if anybody presents me any information overwhelming that someone is a pedophile or a racist, bring them to my face, I will decry them there, and I will continue to decry them. I decry all pedophiles and all racists.
By the way,
hey, Julie?
Kenny, can I please interject one thing that about the Constitution and masks? I want to go back to that really quickly. I just want to inform Will that we have the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. If you believe in the first one, you've got to believe in the 10th one. That actually states that the Constitution gives rights to fall on states regarding public health crises. And to go beyond that, we've actually got past Supreme Court rulings regarding mask wearing or things of that nature, such as the 1905 U.S. Supreme Court ruling. I'm going to get the last name wrong. I know.
We already discussed the 10th Amendment. We've only got a few minutes. We've already discussed this entire thing.
UCPSC versus.
Okay, so we discussed this. I unfortunately have to go. It's been about 2 hours here. I really appreciate you, Kenny Klein. I will come back in the future if you guys want to have at me. You guys all were yelling and screaming at me, and I was fine with that. You guys called me morons. I do want to say, in parting, first of all, thank you to Kenny Klein TV. I hope you will go and check out the things that I said and find out they're factual, and maybe you and I can work together on some things, because I don't. Even if I didn't,
this cat is impressing me. I don't watch his vids. I only met the cat one time for 2 minutes, but he is impressing the fuck out of me, bro.
Well, Kenny's awesome, and he hasn't disrespected me.
I'm talking about you. I love Kenny. I'm talking about you.
Well, I appreciate that. So, if I have an open debate. So if any of you guys want to individually, want to debate me, reach out to me. Fake Mike Real News on Instagram or WilliamTurbitt@gmail.com. Open debate. We'll talk about anything you want. We'll discuss. And you know what? I could be wrong. And if you guys prove me wrong, I will say you guys got me and I was wrong. Now, secondly,
no, you just denied.
The first part of her question was really dope. Excluding them making laws and stuff. If the 10th Amendment says that it does give power to the states, and it does, I wasn't aware of the medical shit.
Oh yeah, so the 10th Amendment, and we talked about this. The 10th Amendment says anything that's not granted in the above amendments is given to the states or the people respectively. However, my argument, which I made earlier, is just because the 10th Amendment doesn't mean you can use the 10th Amendment to trample on the over above amendments.
Well, and that's where we get to.
I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm sorry.
Robertson's recent statement.
Dr. G, I will give you.
Yes, I know you really want to listen to me, but you're going to talk over me anyway. That's fine.
I've been here for 2 hours.
That's fine.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Guys, we'll get Will on again. We'll get Will on again. You guys will have another chance to ask him some questions.
Please give me 30 seconds to wrap this up, guys. All right. I've given, first of all, Morgie, Lavender, Hank, I've been insulted. I've given you guys my full undivided attention, right? I will come back on the stream. And if any of you individually want to debate me on my show or discuss with me or just have a chat, say, well, maybe I think you're wrong. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. WilliamTurbitt@gmail.com, or wait till the next time I come on the show. Or
cite your references.
Please, let me just finish.
No, you've had enough. Will, University of California.
Morgan, you make a show and I'll come on with you. Kenny, can I please have 30 seconds?
University of California Davis on mask mandate, 60% on average.
What?
University California Davis research, scientific fact, masks
there's no such thing as a scientific fact.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Kenny, can I talk?
Go and read the research.
Kenny even told you.
Just go and read the research, all right?
Hold on, guys. Okay. Guys, okay.
Please can I please just talk? I've been more than enough nice here. I didn't have to give you any of my time. I gave you 2 hours here.
Just wrap it up. Just wrap it up, and then we can.
I'm trying to. Thank you. Now, first of all, we learned a couple things here. Anybody wants to debate me? FakeMikeRealNews.com. Find me, Fake Mike Real News on Instagram. Give you all the time in the world. I'm coming back on the show if Kenny wants me, and I'll debate you again. Okay? Second of all, don't have a criminal record. Not doing anything illegal. I'm protecting the Constitution. You guys
weren't you just arrested for
you guys have not showed me one thing. You guys have not brought. You spent 2 hours.
So you've never been arrested?
2 hours. Not one fact. Not one fact. I got 9 people. Everything I said.
Giving you facts. He just ignored them.
No facts. Couldn't back me up. And
you
guys are all loving. And you guys are all loving Kate, who gave up her children to the state. She abandoned her children, but you're mad at me.
Don't you go there, you
Will, I gave you the link in the chat.
Wow.
Will, I gave you the link in the chat.
You guys can't hit me with any facts.
You still got arrested.
Will, it's in the chat. I gave you the facts. It's in the chat.
Will, you're supposed to be wrapping this up. All right, we'll have you come on again. All right, guy.
That's right. I'll be back, and I've never given up my kids. And guess what?
You were still arrested.
We're gonna stop that. You're more than welcome to come back, Will. It's all good, but yeah, we're not attacked. No one really attacked you that much here, so we're not going to attack other people.
I only
especially
saw
when they're not here to defend themselves.
But everybody did so well, presented good arguments. I didn't see all the fucking ad hominems and shit. Everybody gave their best arguments. I was like, this shit's pretty incredible, I thought. And
it went pretty well.
Yes, I thought so.
Except the whole thing of him being condescending and pompous and arrogant.
So someone wanted to know, I didn't ask this question earlier, but hold on. Dr. G, someone wanted to know what college you're a professor at. Someone asked in the chat.
I am going to keep that to myself because I don't need auditors showing up at my work.
Understood.
I don't need the kind of harassment that might bring with it. I will tell you, I have a
Is that a law? Is that a law?
I have a PhD in sociology, and I am well known in my field.
Okay. Well, no, it's not that no one believes. Just someone asked, and I wanted to do that through. But all right, so I thought that went pretty well. And we got way more into conspiracy theory type stuff than I really wanted to go into. But I figured that was going to happen having him on. And then I figured once I opened it up, I knew that would start because I know that's because a lot of you people, and I knew he's going to get, someone's going to hit him with the Anselmo, the woman abuser thing. I knew someone's going to hit him with that. I didn't really like his answers to that. He really tried to skirt around that issue. He didn't want to answer. I understand.
He did with every issue.
He did. And Joe, I mean, honestly, you're not going to want to talk shit about a friend, right? I get that. But I mean, do you really need to like dance around the fucking issue? Just say I'd rather not. Couldn't you just say I'd rather not answer that?
Yeah, and Kenny, I don't know if you saw my comment right after he said that.
I typed in like hashtag Me Too movement. He's all yours. What an idiot! I'm sorry.
But I mean, I thought it went pretty well. I mean,
Kenny.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, do you guys monitor the chat during the conversation? Because Will asked for sources, and I found it a long time ago, and I posted it, but I didn't get to show it to him because it's like you guys aren't hearing me, and no one's looking at the chat because it's right there. I pulled it up from Google Scholar.
Some people don't look at the chat. He probably wasn't worried about the private chat. Well, yeah, I see it right now.
He kept looking over. He kept looking over at the chat.
No, private chat.
The private chat. Okay, yeah.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
There's some idiot called Roger William. I don't care whether I ruined it for you or not. You better go and do your own bloody research, sunshine, and I'll give it to you.
I'll tell you right now, Roger. It wasn't Morgie. It was me.
Thank you.
And I really don't care if you don't like it or not. We don't need to rehear the woman beater comment that you kept putting up there, because we had already covered that also. So.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, some people were just coming in. Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff. You guys are more than welcome to go back from the beginning and watch Will come on. It was interesting. It was entertaining. We covered a broad subject, and honestly, without all the extra talk, this probably could have been an hour-long interview.
Actually, the interesting thing was I went and read that letter, and now it's got nothing to do with the Lusitania whatsoever.
What it has to do with is he pretty much predicted Social Security, and collecting information on you. It's like,
but the interesting thing, Kenny, is that is where the sovereign citizen crap comes from.
Right.
If you read it, that's where the sovereign citizen crap comes from. It comes from that letter.
But if you look at a lot of the sovereign citizens, a lot of the frauditors or auditors, I'm sorry, my bad. If you look at the auditors and the sovereign citizens, you see a lot of a lot of overlap.
Oh yeah.
In their ideas.
I would agree with that. And I would say because activism by nature means you're trying to change something. This
isn't just activism. There's a mindset that is similar. There's a similar set of beliefs.
I was about to say where I think they go with that. I think if you're an activist, that you search for freedom. So I think an activist, auditor, sit, all search for their form of freedom. I think that's what they have in common. What they see as freedom.
No,
money.
We're talking about similar.
Freedom, I call money.
Okay.
We're talking about similar, commonly held beliefs that are generally attributed to each group, citizens, and also to auditors. And you see a lot of their underlying beliefs and codes to be interchangeable.
I think it's that extreme side that really believes in freedom. I think those will be the ones that share that. Certainly the auditor that run up there and be like, didn't you swear off to a constitution? He's one, in my opinion. The other two cats losing.
Well, I feel like sovereign citizens are the ones who are more about freedom, like in their mind. That's what they're searching for.
In their mind,
I feel like most of the auditors, I think, are opportunists. It's all about the money.
I agree.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about those cats.
There's some guys that are actually legitimately trying to First Amendment, whatever. But I think most of them, it's easy money. They don't have to edit their videos, just go around and harass people and like content.
Yeah,
so
I agree, man.
Have a regular job.
I think there's a lot of.
Sorry, Kenny.
Can I just put something to Dr. G, please?
Yes.
Dr. G, would you agree that at the moment the sovereign citizen movement, the Moors, and the QAnon are all starting to blend in, and becoming a more extremist movement, because that's how it's looking at the moment, especially. And they're hooking up with the 3%ers and the militias and everything else, and that ideology is starting to become very dangerous.
Well, this is actually my one of my research areas is to look at groups, hate groups, and things of that nature. I'm seeing hate groups. So what we're looking at now is we're looking at a divergence of ideologies where these people are interchangeable in, like I said, their beliefs, some of their beliefs. They hold some of the same deeply held beliefs.
A convergence, not a divergence, a convergence.
If you look at, let's say, oh man, I've already picked on poor Moby Dick, but and I'm not picking on any one religion
leave him alone.
In its face. But if we look at, let's say, religion, let's say basic American Christianity, while Catholics and Baptists diverge and are not the same, they do have at the core of their values the same belief system.
Agreed.
They do read the same Bible. They do read the same. They do believe in the same God. They do have all of these similarities at the base. And it is once they start acting out on these beliefs that you see them diverging or going in separate ways.
Dope. That's dope, baby. That was dope.
So
that was dope. They got the same issues and they all go solve them in different ways. And you know, one guy go audit, one nigga go kick in the Capitol door. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and so that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing a lot with these, with similarities of the groups of the Moorish, the auditors, the white supremacists, the anti-government militias.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at groups like QAnon and hold them up, go back 20 plus years to the Montana Freemen, or to Ruby Ridge, or to any of that stuff that was happening back then, you're going to be able to draw a lot of parallels, a lot of So
I had actually tried to comment to Julie. I know Julie left already, but one thing I wanted to comment about the interaction with Will, when she referenced the Epstein thing, one thing that nobody pointed out, do you notice how Will jumped automatically all over? What was he talking about? He's saying, oh, I don't watch videos. I don't really watch videos. I got other things. All is dancing around. Listen, if there's other auditors that are abusing women or whatever, and he doesn't know about it, the instant response is, oh, who did that? Or I don't know anything about that. Why would you spend your time talking about you don't watch videos? Do you know or do you not know? Because if you know and you're not talking about it, that's what we're talking about. Right? And she kept going, he kept going back and like, oh, this and that, and I'm busy and other things, and I don't know. Do you know or not? I mean, later on, he claimed that he didn't know about it, but why was that at the end? The first thing I would have said if I didn't know, I'd say, I don't know. I'd say, who's doing that? I haven't heard anything. He didn't say that. Why?
Or I know nothing about that. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, exactly. That was my whole point. And earlier, if you watched earlier, we asked him about Anselmo. And he pretty much point blank, well, not point blank, after, some dancing around and doing the rope-a-dope, he got to finally, he didn't believe Anselmo was, he was guilty. You know how he went off statistics talking about how cops abuse their wives. It's like, you'd be worried about that. It's like, that's not what the question was. It was, what do you think about Anselmo? It's like,
you sound like
finally,
me, bro.
He danced around that question like Patrick Swayze, dude. I was
really
amazed.
did.
There's bad people everywhere, guys. Everywhere there's bad people. There's bad people in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood, in every neighborhood.
Agreed. I do think it's interesting, though, that if a Muslim shoots up a building, Americans think Muslims are bad. If QAnon or whatever, QAnon are bad. But if a Christian went and shot up a building, you won't think all Christians are bad. If a white person went and shot something up, you wouldn't think all white people are bad. Black guy robbed something, it's all on the news, all black people are bad. It's weird.
Oh, hang on.
You mentioned that, like, if a Christian shoots up a building, nobody talks about it. I mean,
no one blames all Christians, Tim. No one blames all Christians.
Oh, no. I understand. You're out on the West Coast, right?
Say again?
Right? You're out on the West Coast area?
No, I'm in Chicago.
Okay, so you're central, right? Up like in the Northeast, it's like you hear reports of like crimes against Christians and stuff.
Really? Because I don't. Interesting. I guess some. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Actually, what's
I don't think that
interesting,
negates my argument, though, Tim.
What's really interesting, Joe, and I'll mention this to you, when you get into the Midwest, away from Chicago itself, what you're going to see is a lot of people use the term Chicago as to reference criminals, and that word is interchangeable with.
Damn.
Am I right? Am I right? No problem. I'm from Chicago, and Chicago people are all black.
He committed to Chicago and got a felony. Damn.
But am I right, Joe? Have you heard that?
Undoubtedly, we have become a synonym for violence. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, when you go to small towns around or within a few hours drive of Chicago,
I haven't heard it literally.
If somebody wants to reference the crime in their towns, especially on a place like Facebook, inevitably someone will bring up the fact that all the criminals in their town are coming from Chicago.
Yes.
And Chicago has become a code word, a racist code word for black.
I think so. Fuck yeah. I got buddies, man, that hate me on sight. I'm sure it's because I represent to them that saggy pants so-and-so from Chicago that causes all our fucking problems.
Dr.
But,
G,
Joe, in all fairness, those saggy pants do nothing for you. You look much better in those skinny pants.
I hate the skinny pants, Joe.
You had a question for me?
This is a debate. So you were talking about QAnon before. So one of the things that I focus on my channel is media bias. And so I'm always looking at what's going on in conservative media versus what's going on in liberal media. I know it's much more complicated than that, but I kind of divide it in two sides.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed that's a very interesting thing is ever since the attack on the 6th, I've noticed that there's been a really extensive suppression of any discussion of the hate groups, the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, the QAnon. They all like posted one video about the actual attack, and then they quickly moved on to talking about Biden and Biden not doing anything and censorship and whatever.
That's interesting.
And they didn't even talk about the cops. I mean, they're supposed to be pro-police. I didn't see anybody posting videos about how the cop get killed and 2 of them committed suicide. Like, they don't want to talk about it at all. They just completely dropped the story and moved on. Like, what's that about?
Well, I mean, in all fairness, debate, if you don't mind me saying, I mean, it says, is it possible that maybe people are starting to realize that, what happened at the Capitol wasn't done by pro-Trump people, pro-Republican or anti-Democrat or pro-Democrat or whatever? It was just a bunch of Looney Tunes, who...
Whoa, no, I disagree.
But even if that's the case, why don't they want to talk about that? Like, why wouldn't they want to even talk about, hey, it was a bunch of Looney Tunes? They don't even want to talk about that at all. It's like off limits. Like, let's not talk about it.
Because it was distract from the narrative that the other side is bad.
Debate me. What was your question for me, sir?
So I just wanted to know, what do you think about that? Like, why would it be that they... And I noticed that I don't see any videos about racism on conservative channels. Like, they don't even want to discuss the topic. Like, when they talk about racism, they talk about how the left talks about it, which is true. They talk about how the left will exploit it. And that's true, race baiting, whatever. Valid points, but they don't want to talk about actual racism itself. Like, do the better job. Like, the left is race baiting, so let's have an honest conversation. There's no videos like that. It's like, it's off limits. Don't talk about QAnon. Don't talk about racism. Don't talk about some Trump words that like cult. Don't talk about none of that stuff. Like, this, ignore it, pretend it's not happening.
Hold on, guys. Hank wants to say something. Hank wants to say something. Go ahead, Hank.
I got a couple of things. One, if Kenny would allow it, I'd love to get the link posted in chat for you, debate me.
Hey, can you get a little closer to your mic?
It is better?
Yes, a little bit.
There you go.
Okay.
I can see in the chat if you want to post it. I'll see it.
What link? Are you the one? The one that make you posted?
Because I'd love to check out his channel.
Oh, put his channel link. I think you can just put in Debate Me channel. I think, right?
Yeah, I'll put a link in there.
Well, you gotta put it in private chat, and then someone then I can post it or something.
And the other thing, next time, if you get Will back again, it might be better off to bring one person up out of the basement at a time to debate him.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Sorry.
Agreed. Well, Boogie was the first one, and it just kind of got going from there. It's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna let it go, let it ride.
The question.
I didn't hear what he said. Next time, what now?
The main question The main question I want to ask him though is, what has he actually done? What has he actually changed? If he has changed anything, he makes a lot of claims, but he's got no proof to back up that anything he's actually changed anything.
Well, no, that's the thing. He's never. I don't think I've never heard him prove he's changed anything. He is just, his thing is exposing it, calling attention to it. But then I posed a question to him: wouldn't it be better to get change done as opposed to just exposing it? Then he went on this tirade about, well, it depends on the way you're looking at it. It could be yes, it could be no. It's like, oh god, he wouldn't even answer that.
But Kenny, hang on, guys. Just a sec. But the thing is, right, that what he's actually exposing has already been exposed. Everything that he says he's exposing has already been out there. He's just picking it up and he's just picking it up and regurgitating it.
Yeah, no, agree.
If he wanted to make a change, is what I'm trying to say. If you really wanted to make a change, okay, he wouldn't post this stuff on YouTube first. He would go to the proper authorities. He'd go through the proper channel.
Yeah, not with the stuff he's talking about. He's not going to bring it up to the authorities because people have done that in the past and nothing's happened.
Wait. So, Tim, so if he wants to make a change, he would not post it on YouTube. I'm sorry, if he wanted to make a difference, he would not post it on YouTube. I don't watch the man's vids, but I'm assuming he's educating someone on their rights. Yeah. He's showing that cops are disrespectful. So posting on YouTube seems to be.
I hear you, Joe. What I said was, maybe it got cut off or something, was like, instead of posting it to YouTube first, okay, go direct to, the people in charge. You know what I mean?
Chicago, Tim. I've done that for, 30 plus years. It's never worked for me. You take it up to COPA, Internal Affairs, the Department of fucking something, up to they got so many of them. I've been through all of them, and I'm telling you, in Chicago, they do not work. Even statistically, we have the worst FOIA request records, top 3 in the nation. The worst for giving FOIA requests from jails. Our police have almost 500,000 fucking records over the last police misconduct that they've been hiding. They lost in court. They're supposed to turn them over. They appealed it and say they're going to destroy them before the bill even comes to court. We are horrible in Chicago. That shit is not even an option here. You don't have redress in Chicago. You go to the police station, say the police, someone is acting out. I got a video of it. I go tell them, listen, one of your cops did something. You got a sergeant, someone I could speak to. Dude say, no, we don't accept complaints. Go tell the mayor.
Yeah. And I wasn't meaning any disrespect to like Chicago, I
think you're roboting.
Yeah, you're roboting, Tim. All right, so Kat just posted the debate link in the chat. So if you guys want to debate me,
one of my programs.
Okay, I think you're way behind, Tim.
Am I roboting?
All right,
appreciate it, man.
No, not anymore. Okay, so all right, so yeah, I thought this was a really good stream. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Let's see.
That was great.
Is there any? All right, so now I want to open it up to what do you guys think went well with it? What do you guys think could have been improved on it? Because I want to get better at what I'm doing. So I'm gonna start with you, Morgan. What one thing that went well and one thing that could have been improved on. What do you think?
Well, me not letting Will get under me for a set. First off, he just annoys the fuck out of me. He really does. I think, yeah, I actually like the format. I think, yeah, that you're quite correct. One of us up at a time, and then we'll just keep it on, because we did get off stream, I have to admit. But that's how he works. He tries to say this and this. I mean, my biggest thing to him is, if all men are created equal, then why the fuck aren't you wearing a mask, you stupid? But you know, it's just hypocrisy after hypocrisy after hypocrisy after hypocrisy, and that's what gets me. But I like the format, and I think, yeah, just keep it to one of us, and we'll debate him with you as moderator. That might be a better. That might work a little better.
Yeah, that was my first. That's what I wanted to do at first, but then like Lavender was waiting, and you were going, I'm like, oh, this is, I don't know when they're going to stop, because I know you get pissed. And you will just keep going and go, somebody, this isn't going to work, because he was already pissing you off. I already knew. I'm like, I'm just going to go with it now. But it's cool. I mean, I thought it worked well. Do you have anything last minute to say to everyone before we? I mean, I'm going to give everyone a chance, but just before.
If I may get a chance to answer the question Debate Me asked a while back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Debate Me. You were talking about, why are we not seeing things in the media? Or seeing specific things in the media concerning what's happened recently, or especially with the January 6th invasion of the Capitol. One of the things that I do in all of my classes is we have an underlying theme of the course. And for my underlying theme of the course this semester has been controlling the narrative. We're talking about who controls the narrative, what's in there, your narrative, society's narrative, and all of these things. Right now is not the time for these groups to start shouting about how Blue Lives Matter and the thin blue line. Because right now they've been caught showing that they don't really care. That when it all comes down to it, that's just another, it was just another against an enemy. It was a way to combat against an enemy.
I'm not sure I understood you about the thin blue line. You say now is not the time to be going in on the cops.
Now their time. When we're talking about the groups that were historically shouting Blue Lives Matter and thin blue line. Right now is not their time to be saying that.
I hear you.
It's a hypocritical position.
I think
when we look at things such as when we're looking at the white supremacists, or we're looking at groups, why aren't they trying to stand up and say, we're not the racists? And this is why, is because when you do that, you must understand that you have gone against narratives that have been predetermined. The whole who started the Klan, the Democrats or the Republicans? Because then they're going to have to really uncover that. They're going to have to go to the Dixiecrat switch. They're going to have to peel the onion. And to peel that onion means to show that their narrative.
That's the deflection anyway. Anyone talking about the origin of slavery as opposed to the effects it has right now, that's a deflection. I try not to even let them pull me off like that.
Does that make sense, Debate Me?
Yeah, the thing is also
sense. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that feedback.
The thing is also that you have to look at the evolution of all of that as well, and the 360 where, you know, the Democrats may have started the Klan, but the Klan is now almost the Republican Party.
And that's what we're talking about. The
Dr.
Dixiecrat.
Dr. G, can I ask you an honest question, Dr. G?
Tim.
Okay, hold on, you're interrupting people.
Actually, historically, we're also looking at things such as the fact that it's actually wrong to say the Democrats started the Klan. If you look, the people in the South were typically Democrat for their politics. But ideology and politics are two separate things. So it wasn't that the Democrats started the Klan or any one political group started the Klan. These were people that were just in a highly Democratic area, happened to be Democrat.
Can I just ask one question, Dr. G? I was under the impression that the Klan actually started as a charity to support widows from the Confederate side.
Actually, it started with a group of men. They often are referred to as a fraternity that got together, and their original intention was to refight the Civil War. Which failed miserably. It was never initially directed to aggression against a race. It wouldn't be until the second and the third inception of the Klan, and we're talking around 1920s, when we're seeing the Klan at its worst. And in the 1920s, the Klan was actually more prominent in states like Indiana. So if you look at the Klan leadership in the 1920s, the state of Indiana is what that leadership was.
That was when
Indiana
it was most
is the stronghold today, too.
Yeah, well, when you consider the fact that the largest Klan rally that ever happened to date was in the 1930s in a small town north of Indianapolis, Indiana, called Kokomo, Indiana. They had 250,000 Klansmen to save the town. You got to understand, 1928, over 40% of the adult white males, voting males in Indianapolis, Indiana, were members of the Klan. The Klan that we know, the Klan that is dangerous, the Klan that is directing its targets towards Black people, towards different religions, towards gay people, towards the Jews. That Klan didn't see its foothold until the 1920s and the 1930s.
Which was the start of the Nazi Party as well.
Yep.
So the Klan.
Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith, 1919, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you watch how the Klan spread in the Midwest, it went church to church, giving money to the widows and orphans into the church, and then getting people to join it. So yeah, the Klan that you know of now, Morgie, yes, has some work with the widows and orphans, but it was mainly as a propaganda tool to get its foot inside the church, which was back in the 1920s and 30s, was the epicenter of the city.
So in the 1920s, it went into the religious right and the Nazi Party, basically.
Yeah.
From my understanding, like it had its resurgence, like when the time gets talking like the 1930s, and because it died for a little while, and then some guy brought what was it? I can't remember. Nathan Bedford Forrest, or what's his name?
No, actually, Nathan Bedford Forrest was one of the original members.
That's what it was. Okay. Right.
But no, why it saw its reemergence? Why it saw its reemergence was the fact that if you saw in the South and even in the North, you saw Black people getting into positions of power, such as being elected officials, becoming the wealthiest person in their community, owning massive amount of land. So the pushback was the Klan. And that's why you're seeing the Klan. If you want my opinion from a sociologist who studies this stuff, and what we're writing about right now is you are seeing a pushback by the Klan, or the reemergence of the Klan, as a direct pushback against a certain Black person had a certain amount of power a few years ago.
I would agree with that. Even more importantly, Martin Luther King, I say this all the time. He said, our problem is not the radical KKK, it's the so-called good white folk who are content to look the other way. You got everything from those Klan members that you're saying and that pushback, but there are a lot of good white folks that are pushing back and don't even know it, just out of instinct or whatever. A lot of them have not examined the issues like you have. And it's instinctive for them to push back.
It just might be ignorant, Joe. It just might be ignorant. I would agree with
that. I couldn't say that. I'd be getting slayed right now, but I'd agree. They just, you know.
You might be a bitch, Joe, but you ain't no slave.
So Dr. G, just talking about that 1920s resurgence. So the massacre in Tulsa would have been the basic epitome of that.
It would be one of the epicenter moments.
Yeah.
The epicenter moment.
Well, one of many epicenter moments. We give a lot of attention to the Tulsa riot or the Tulsa massacre, but there are other events that happened that were
The
just
only coup in the American history was done by white folks who went in there, killed the black people who were the governors or senators or whatever, and still their own white folks. The only coup ever in America, but no one talks about it.
See, most people don't realize that when you ask, we talk about Rosa Parks being one of the forefront central leaders of the civil rights movement. Yeah. But when you asked why she didn't give up her seat, Rosa Parks turned to the Emmett Till murder. And
she referred to the Emmett Till murder?
Yes, as the motivator for her not to stand up. There are other events that happen that lead to these big, what we call epicenter moments, but a lot of them have been hidden in history.
You know what would have happened? Let me interrupt you, Dr. G, because I'm trying to get a response from these cats on this panel in particular. You know what this panel would have said had Rosa Parks done that, and this was now modern era. I expect to hop in here, and maybe not you people per se, because I don't know most of you like I know most people in the community. But I expect to hear in this room, she should have went through the proper procedures. She should have filed with the CTA. That's why how you cats talk, and it bothers me to no fucking end. You talk about that nigga need to expose.
That ain't me, Joe. That ain't
no.
I'm sorry.
I definitely would not have been okay with that. I wouldn't have said that at all.
No.
No one says that now, but I'm telling you, some hero that's doing heroic shit, you won't be able to see it. You're so caught up in the rules and what have you, or your hate for this guy and that. You won't be able to see it when every heroic deed is done. You're gonna be saying, "But dude, beat his wife and kicked his dog." You're gonna miss it.
I don't know. I think you're putting us all into.
I'm doing it intentionally. I'm trying to get rises out of people. I can't. I'm doing
Joe, you're talking about different eras as well. So the era that we're in at the moment is completely different to what was in the 60s.
Joe's looking for subs.
Hey, Kenny.
Joe, you're looking at two different eras as well. So you know that 60s era is completely different to what it is. You've got to remember that you don't have the mass media that you have now. That the social media platforms and things like that.
I'm loving that, right? But they're silencing the fucking Republicans and all them cats right now, whether I agree with it or not. That is scary as fuck, yo.
Oh yeah, look, I agree with you, and the thing that scares the fuck out of me the most is, like Dr. G was saying, that you've got those rioters that went into the Capitol, all those white supremacists, and they're now declaring that as a victory and saying that Trump is going to be reinstated as president in March.
What's much more scary is all of those masses that went there, period, and pushed in. Not just, however, it was orchestrated, that mass crowd showed up and believed that they were being fucking heroes and patriots.
Oh, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Hey, Kenny.
Morgan, can I say one thing?
Let's let everybody. You started where everybody was saying their feedback from the live stream. Let's continue that, and then we can discussion.
I'm with you, debate me, but I gave up on that shit.
I mean, no, this is a lot of fun. That's what I was having. I thought it was a good conversation, so I wanted to let it go. But I do need to get going here pretty soon. So let's everyone get feedback and everyone say their little last minute thing, and then we'll go ahead and end it. Morgan, what's your last minute thing to say?
Thanks for listening.
Good girl.
Lavender, some feedback and your last minute thing to say.
Don't let him talk to you the way that you did. You let him.
I was trying to give him reign. I was trying to give him not free reign, but I was trying to give him some latitude because I know he was going to go off on that. And the thing was, I was giving him enough rope to hang himself. That's what he did.
That's
he
fine.
Went off on his little tangents.
He was being disrespectful.
You do that with every
at
auditor,
the same
Kenny.
time.
You give him free reign. You treat him well.
And
Gotcha.
you know,
Well, yeah, no,
you
a
can't
lot of
let
people
him
think
talk to you like that. And then when you're talking and he's talking over you and you're trying to ask a question, and then he goes off on these rants that all he's doing is talking in circles, you got to stop him and say, this is the question. Let's start
fair enough.
over. Question
Fair enough.
is, you know,
Fair
we
enough.
could have got through a lot more topics that way too.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. We could have, but you
He's
know,
gonna hang
let me learn.
himself anyway. But thank you for letting me up. And thanks to everybody in the chat and everybody on panel. I love you all.
You do, Lavender.
Right, hey.
Hi, Carl.
Hey, the next time he comes up, invite Artie.
Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, Artie will put him in his place, but of course he will deny everything like he did.
He will.
All the points that we proved him wrong on tonight, that he just, there's no such thing as scientific fact to win his argument or some other
Agreed.
bullshit.
I didn't even see that part, but I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and but thanks for letting me up and have a voice.
Debate me. What you got, man?
So this was really good, and you know, I love your videos. Keep doing the awesome content, and thank you for allowing us a voice or this platform to be able to share ideas. As far as suggestions, I definitely feel like there's some challenges as far as communication. So number one, like we already said, in terms of, you know, if Dr. G is talking to Will, if we can have everyone like not interrupt and just let them go back and forth, but then also got to moderate the time as well, because you know it could just run on and on and on forever. But we gotta get rid of the extra noise, because that can take away from some really good conversations. And then also, and this is just another communication as well, because for example, I wanted to talk to Dr. G for a while, but I don't know if my mic, if you guys can't hear me, and then I don't want to like talk over people, so I try to put in the chat, but then like no one's really looking at it. So you know, those are the things that I noticed.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to Dr. G too.
Yeah, great. Okay. Thank you. Joe Cool, what you got, baby?
Debate me just stole all my shit. Great fucking show.
And you're not getting it back, bro.
I'm not getting it back. Your great fucking show. I hate to even give criticisms, but it would have been the same one he gave if you could have just had two people as opposed to the more people, the more that conversation is going to go on. And if shit, I don't know, man. You did fucking great. Shit, I had a thought, is not coming back to me. You know, and thanks. I would like to come around at some point when I get to freely debate these niggas. Every time I see you, you have a show, you have a topic, so I can't get Eve Cats a hard time. I am dying to put them to the test, yo.
What do you want? What do you want to have a Joe Cool? What do you want to have a Joe Cool open challenge show?
Oh, we can do it now. My battery, I only got like 25%.
How about we'll do
shit,
that
shut it
next
down.
week.
We'll stay up here.
So next week we'll do a Joe Cool open challenge. We'll have a Joe Cool open challenge next week if you're down.
I bet you know it won't get 9 niggas up here to fucking talk about that type of shit.
Maybe not, but it'll still be a lot of fun. Hey, Joe, some of the best shows I've ever done were just you, me, who else? It was you and one other person. And there was 8 people in chat. 8 fucking people. And that was one of the best shows I think I've ever done, because you were just all over the place. It was fantastic. I think it was Tim was there too. It was you, me, Tim, and Sean. Sean was there too, and we were just talking about one thing, talking about another thing. We had like at one point there was like 20 people, then 13, then it went down to 9. It's like, God, they don't like hearing us talk, but I didn't give a shit. It was fun.
You ain't lying. I crave opposing points of views, right? Because I can't get these opinions in my usual circles. And then when you have people who are brave enough to express them and stand by them, you know, I definitely want to hang out with them cats. And I might not be liked, because I'm always going to be pushing you to give me your opinion on this, your opinion on that, and that might be interpreted a different way. I hope these guys don't think I want to
from
attack
Chicago
them.
too.
It is not.
The Bulls suck. The Bulls suck. I'm sorry.
The Bulls.
Hey, I always enjoyed debating Joe.
All right, Dr. G. What about you?
Hang on, whoever's heavy breathing, can they stop it, please?
Darth, can you stop it?
Carl's breathing too.
Is Carl having sex right now?
Oh,
no. Just all right. So, Dr. G. Yeah, criticism, some input, and a little last minute words of wisdom or whatever.
Kenny, I've always enjoyed watching your videos. Keep it up. And I would love to be a part of any of these live debates that you have going on. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here and step in tonight. Debate me with the conversations that we're having. Yes, I will look you up on Discord and debate me. If you want me to ever show up on a show, let me know. I would gladly do it.
As soon as I get out of YouTube jail, it's on. How do I get your contact info though?
What did you say?
As soon as I
get out of YouTube jail, it's on.
Okay.
Just real quick to let you know, they literally suspended me for encouraging people to take COVID seriously. They listed that as medical misinformation. Me showing a hospital with a doctor saying he got sick, and I'm showing the science, and they say that's medical misinformation, and I got suspended for that. The other one was me literally reading a court document on the Sidney Powell lawsuit. I'm just reading the lawsuit and what it says, and they're like spam or something. I'm like, what? So I can't post nothing now.
Okay,
Yeah, they're really touchy. They're really touchy.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for letting me have a voice here tonight. And after the show, I will be autographing copies of Moby Dick.
Dr. G, before you go anywhere, thank you for coming.
That's a good one.
You did well. You added to the conversation. You did very good. Thank you for popping your head in.
All right, thank you.
Carl, what you got, sir?
Well, I could say what I'm thinking, what I'm not going to do. Really bites, and so do I.
Okay. Tim, what you got?
Well, one thing I wanted to ask, Dr. G, if you don't mind, are you white or black or something else?
What the fuck does that matter, Tim?
No, seriously, because she was offering up. No, seriously. Give me a second, okay? I'm a nice guy. You know that, okay?
Yeah.
And Dr. was like, giving stuff out, and Joe Cool was like, nodding his head and everything like that, and I'm just curious if Dr. G is white or black.
If you're black, it would explain why you say the crazy shit you say.
Actually, I am white, but I'm also gay and Jewish. So I have a sense of what it is like to be a minority population.
Oh, okay. Because honestly, the reason why I asked was because, up here in the Northeast, some of the arguments you were making seem like, some of the arguments that
seem like a black person would present that argument, a white motherfucker wouldn't, is where this conversation is going.
Well, but here's the thing: you've also got to realize, Tim, I'm published in this area. I present in this area at conferences. I teach this area, and one of the benefits of all of these things is I'm very passionate about this area. So this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I make it my job. My job is to research and speak on this topic. So,
and that's what I was looking for, because unfortunately, you got a lot. I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to sound racist or anything like that, but you've got a lot of self-hating white people. And
Oh,
and
I love
Fucking insane, man.
Oh.
Self-hating. Try to listen to some of that shit. Maybe you'll get active in some more shit. Self-hating white folks. Them self-hating white folks trying to tell you about other people's problems, but they ain't black, so you can't tell them stop playing the race card.
No,
Fuck out of here.
No, Joe, I wasn't telling her, stop playing the race card or anything like that. I'm not like that.
All right, guys. Stop before
anyway, Kenny,
anyway,
my final observation,
Stop
Kenny.
digging, Tim.
All right, guys. So,
Kenny, my final observation: you did a great job when you had Will one-on-one. Congrats that you actually got him to show up. I mean, that's great. I mean, and I was really happy how, unlike other interviewers of him, you actually cut him off a couple times and said, "Can we go back to the question?" So you did great, Kenny. You did great, Kenny. And it's just he has so much passion.
Yeah, he does.
There's so much passion.
I was impressed. I don't watch his vids. I don't watch All in America, so I wouldn't have never even seen one vid he made. I don't think, unless fucking Kate was covering or Kenny or something.
Yeah.
So I had no preconceived ideas about this dude. I thought he was well going against niggas with very sharp arguments, and he was doing well. I thought it was like I loved it.
I don't know if he was doing well.
And then he pulled a
right?
He's definitely intelligent. He's a smart guy. I will give him that. He knows a lot of what he's talking about, but he has propensity to evade questions when he doesn't have the answer he knows that he should give. And that's what he's doing a lot of times and that was really frustrating. And I think that's what frustrated a lot of people here today.
Yeah. And he evaded questions with you, but at the same time, though, Kenny, you're one of the few people who didn't allow him to just cut you off. So good for you, Kenny. And I would like to think that you earned his respect because you were nothing but a great host towards him, despite what
he always does that. He's had the Resistance, Coachella, whoever the fuck. He is always that dude.
Kenny is the man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. So make sure you guys are subscribed because next week we've got some giveaways for people. It's some cool little stuff. I'll show you guys next week some things, just some little things, just something to thank you to everyone. And
so you have my Tierra and PS5.
Yeah, see, no, it's not a Tierra. Not a PS5. Right? I can't even find one for myself. So right? There you go. But yeah, so we'll have some giveaways next week. Still trying to figure out the best way to do that. So once I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. Thank you everyone for joining me. I want to thank Will Turbitt for actually showing up and answering some questions. Even though he didn't answer a lot, but that's okay. Maybe we'll have him on again. What do you guys think? Should we have him on again or no?
Fuck yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I missed 90% of it, but I loved it. It was cool.
You go back and listen to it. It's really good.
Do you honestly believe that he doesn't get any money from YouTube?
No.
He said that earlier before you came on.
He said he doesn't get any money. No, I would not. I don't know the cat, and I would not call him a liar. But
no, I believe it.
I believe it. Shit, I didn't get no bread for a year and a half or something. I didn't fucking even monetize, and I just started monetizing my shit green a month ago. No one would believe that bullshit either.
No, I believe
has so much money then.
I believe with Will because his original channel, if you take a look at his views were shit on his original channel. The only thing that got good was when he was with Anselmo. So yeah, I can believe he never made no money on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm actually wondering if Anselmo actually threw a few bucks his way to go.
That's
go
what I would have been thinking. Yeah.
Well, that's why I told Will when I did. I told him I don't think he's one of the auditors that are out there doing this for money because he's not making a whole lot of money. He has his Patreons that help him, and he might make a little bit of money on YouTube until he gets shut down again, which more likely he'll get demonetized again just because of his content.
And he's fired up, Kenny. He believes these things in his heart. He is fired up about something.
Yeah.
He has passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very passionate.
Yeah, but he has no critical thinking.
He has passion and a whisk.
And the whisk.
And I have no scrambled eggs.
And the ability to protect the main document he professes to protect.
I want, by the way, I want 2 autographed copies of Moby Dick, please. And you can have it updated and not in Old English. I can't do the Old English. It's just I tried to read Dracula and I couldn't get past it because of the Old English.
Goodness.
Excuse me, Kenny.
Yeah.
You do realize that Moby Dick is an American book. It's not British.
Yeah, but it's still written in Old English.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's American, so it's Old American, not Old English.
It was either. Yeah, good point. Okay, fair enough.
Hey, they have it in a graphic novel for you.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm on it.
I'll get you the classic. I used to have the old classic comics of Moby Dick. Find it and send it to you.
Kenny.
Taco, if you can find a way to get me in touch with Val, I'd love to have Val. You know what? I might be able to get Eric Grant on, so we'll try for that.
Val's too much of a lunatic.
Kenny.
Yes.
Can I ask that the next time you have Will on, that he provides all the citations of where he's getting his information? Because I'd like to see the sites where he's pulling some of his information from, and since he's so big on facts, make sure you get.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of like, I don't need to give you facts, prove me wrong. I agree with that, Alvin.
Yeah.
And make sure you get his questions before the show so you have time to research.
Yeah, because he was asking questions and asking for proof. Like, well, I told him straight up from the get-go, I don't really want to do all this talk on your conspiracy theories. And he still just kind of went off. You told me all those conspiracies. I told you I didn't want to talk about it. So if I go in not wanting to talk about it, why would I research it? I mean, come on. That's like saying, "Oh, don't worry, don't worry. We're not going to talk about Dalmatians." So what's your favorite Dalmatian? I didn't even look it up. Oh, that's your fault, isn't it? Oh, I win. No, that's not how that shit works.
How do you research that he says that he was the very first person to interview someone from Antifa if there's no evidence of that?
And a lot of his old videos are gone because he lost his channel, but he's uploading a lot of them to his new channel.
The problem is with him is that everything he says is a conspiracy theory, but it's based in fact. So he goes back to what the fact is to in an attempt to justify his conspiracy theory.
He kept bringing up that letter. Remember that letter?
I'm gonna. And it has nothing. Here's what the letter says. I'll read it to you right now. It says It says, in a private meeting with Woodrow Wilson, he said, very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property, that's you and your children, in a national system designed to keep track of the people and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a charge back for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer being able to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, our property, and we will hold the security interest over them forever by operation of the law, merchant, under the scheme of secure transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering the bills of lading, birth certificate, to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, secured by their pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and there will be none the wiser, for not one man in a million could ever figure our plans, and if by accident one or two should figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debts to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will inevitably reap us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we'll call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will unknowingly be our servant. However, begrudgingly, the people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and will employ the high office presidency of our dummy corporation, USA, to form this plot against America. That has nothing to do with what the fuck he was talking about.
But it is the background for sovereign citizens.
Yes.
You found it, but he couldn't. Okay. I get okay.
And hence we have sovereign citizens and groups like the Auditors find their sources at the similar starting point.
So basically, he pretty much said that he predicted Social Security and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it had nothing to do with. But wasn't his argument it was the Lithuania, right? You guys were talking about the Lithuania, and he brought up that fucking letter for some reason, right?
Lusitania,
right? I'm sorry, yeah.
Kenny,
Lithuania is a country.
I'm sure they were in on it too.
Go ahead, Hank.
Or if you could find a way to get Devin Bay on, sure. Go ahead, Hank. Sorry.
There is another letter. I don't know who it was from to that era's president that did say something to the effect of the
You're low as fuck,
if
Hank.
one of our liners if one of our ships or citizens was killed in the shipping of the arms, and I think that's what he's referring to. He's just got his head up his ass to who did the writing of the letter.
Yeah, but the Lusitania was Cunard. Yeah. But the Lusitania was British. It was a Cunard line.
Yeah. The Pritchard letters is looking like.
Because the letters themselves did not mention any specific liner. It was more along the fact of if a liner with significant American deaths, the outrage that would be caused within the United States. And actually the letter was trying to get the president to back off allowing the shipments on these civilian liners.
Arms
that's
dealing.
logical.
Yeah, they were trying to suppress the civilian arms dealing that was going on at the time.
See you all later.
Yes, it was not the way
Bye,
to get
Carl.
involved in the war.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like that, that could be. That's just coincidence, right? That is really just coincidence. That's not any kind of forbearing on anything.
Especially as shipping was the only way of getting supplies over to those places. And those
I guess he's saying the Lusitania was sunk for a different reason.
It was what happened was that basically it was a mistake on the captain's part. Was that he was doing it as he made the mistake of not putting his speed up to get into the British harbour. And
what is Will's contention?
Well, Will doesn't have one.
Oh, okay.
Well, the argument started. We were talking about World War One. No, yeah, World War Two.
World War One.
World War One, and she was trying, and Mercury was trying to get him to say, "Well, what do you have?" And then he brought up the letters, and he asked, "Did you know about this person?" And he said, "What did he say?" It proved that the American knew what happened about the Lusitania and how it started World War One, and they planned it all, sort of thing, something like that.
Yeah,
I'm probably not saying it right, or something like that.
But the actual conspiracy theory is with Churchill, and Churchill had nothing to do with it because he wasn't the Lord of the Admiralty at the time.
And I actually,
he was very disrespectful to Morgie, during that little, in between.
I
did see some of that.
Let me know, when you know what you're talking about and all that stuff.
I saw some of that too, Tim.
Huh?
I saw some of that too. Him being disrespectful to Morgan too.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. I was disrespectful to him.
Yeah.
They're disrespectful to each other.
You gave it right back.
Because of his tangents, I never got the chance to get to blow the holes in his World War II arguments. He cherry-picked certain pieces, but if you take all the information as a whole,
it doesn't add up.
Did get us popped. We did have reasons to know the attack was on its way. The intelligence. We actually had an intelligence officer that was telling the command that it was on his way, and he was told he was smoking dope, basically.
Never heard that one.
And the theater commander who was in charge of Pearl Harbor, when the documents came out to say that war with Japan is imminent, he chose to bring all the ships in closer, and all the aircraft on the airfield were put real close together, which is not good for if you expect an actual attack. They were more worried about insurgency type operations.
Really?
The Japanese population that Hawaii had at the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, so they protected for the wrong attack.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot, but we're going off another tangent again. I'm letting it, and I want to because I love this. But man, this is going on 3 hours. I got some stuff I got to take care of.
Just one last thing. I just bringing that up. It's interesting though that every time something like that happens, it shows how complacent we are to the intelligence that we have.
Oh, agreed. All right, so I just want to throw out the email here for anybody that wanted to email me if they wanted to get on another stream or they had a subject they would like to discuss. There's my email address. Also, if you look in my About section, there is a Google Voice number you can contact as well and leave a message, and I'll get back to you. So please, guys, everyone, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys again I should have a video for you guys tomorrow. So
thank you for having us.
No problem. Here we go. Check that out. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace, man.
I can't believe you two took that raving lunatic seriously. What do you think this is?